might as well start here with poor old Khadgar's head in a ball. Dear Lord, I'm going to make a punish Khadgar joke. I'm sorry. If they do keep him alive and it's just his arm gone, I want his eye gone as well, so we can go full punish Khadgar jokes here. Excuse me, can this... Oh, it's because it's the quest.
There is a quest here, yeah.
Oh, we need to move. Hold on. Come over here, gang. Me and a toad. Hey, will this fuckhead get out of our way? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, random person questing. Okay, so an intro. Hello, everyone. This is going to be our little playthrough of The War Within, and we're going to be focusing on the campaign quest, and the gang is all here. Hello, you may know me as Ash or that fucker. But I'm back again. I'm going to give my opinion here on the War Within campaign. I'm going to be on my best behavior. I promise Port and Sil here. And joining me, obviously, are... Port, introduce yourself again.
Hi, I'm Portergauge. I am very much a lore enthusiast, and I am here to witness these two suffer through the war. I have good expectations. I'm looking forward to seeing their reactions. I come from it with a very different perspective, having done all the beta stuff, but haven't seen it all fully completed on live with all the cinematics and everything. So
still missing your Spider Zone and Kajette?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. And Sil, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Silvervin. I'm one of the two people who will be suffering through this.
The suffering squad here. There we go. And Sil and I obviously also have that interest in lore, but Port is going to be our main sort of lore guide here as we go through everything. We are character enjoyers and plot enjoyers.
And Anduin fans. We're going to be focusing mostly on Anduin during this playthrough to kind of like follow up on the roundtable discussion we did.
Whenever we're doing quests and Anduin is not there, we will all be asking, where is Anduin?
Where is Anduin? What is he doing? The Blorbo is going to be spared no punches in regards to this. I'm teasing half, by the way. But we are going to obviously look at his character progression through this base expansion launch, and what things that we like, obviously, what things we don't like, what things we can give sort of feedback in regards to story and characterization without being obviously too ridiculous. I mean, we're not going to be I think there should have been an entirely perfect plot for this, blah blah blah. We'll just generally talk about things that we kind of maybe wanted to see in regards to themes or narrative callbacks or other such things along those lines.
Critiquing. We'll be critiquing.
Critiquing in general. There we go. So, rightio, gang. Should we get right to it? We've started right from the beginning, so we're going to see, no spoilers, but the destruction of Dalaran. I mean, we know what happens here. I mean, everyone's been posting spoilers. Everyone and the bloody granny on every piece of social media is...
Blizzard has been posting spoilers, so...
Blizzard posting spoilers. We're all getting up in the spoilers. I will say this. I do like people talking about stuff, and I'm one of those people, but I will try and vaguely avoid spoilers unless it's something that does need, obviously, I'll peruse, but I won't obviously look too deeply into it unless it does need some feedback. So anyway, going into this fresh, me and Sil.
I will also say, across this campaign, I don't know if you two have been doing it, but be sure to talk to everyone as much as possible, because there's a lot more side dialogue bits that people mention as we progress through various quests.
Yes, we have noticed that. Sam and I have played a little bit of the story on our other alt characters, and we've been clicking on everybody obsessively because everyone has something to say.
Yeah.
Those Final Fantasy XIV instincts are coming in handy.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just going to quickly say that. Good. And that's my first feedback to the devs. Good. I like your characters talking. They should do more of it.
Yeah, that was... Remember how disappointed I was in Aberys? I kept clicking on Rathian, hoping that he would have some insight into whatever was going on, and just being very disappointed that he and Sibelian were saying the same thing throughout the entire last chapter.
Also, I will say, not to poke the hornet's nest, but poor Thrall, we are 3 Alliance characters. He is our only Horde character.
I am so sorry, Thrall. It is, by the way, that is very fair critique, by the way. I know a lot of people are saying, well, wait and see. I have a lot of issue with that, obviously, that statement. Is people have been waiting and seeing for about 10 years now. I don't think that is very good sort of things to say. Just be honest. If you look, there's going to be a lot of Horde story at this point, but, you know, we overlooked on this part, you know, the initial parts in regards to Horde involvement. That's fine. It's noting and be like, duly noted, and will be reviewed on further content in the future. But anyway, poor old Thrall here is our only whole Horde character. Actually, that's a question before we start too. I don't know whether you'd know this, Paul, but are max level campaign quests available at the moment in early access?
They are not. It very much, from what I've been told, it cuts off right before the first level 80 quests. So once you finish Ashtahat, instead of doing the return and finishing the campaign, you get a wait for Illyria.
And then just see character sort of tapping the foot, looking at the watch, going, where is she?
Pretty much, yeah.
Illyria has my sense of timing, as in she's never on time. Yeah, okay, that's interesting though. Obviously, maybe the rewards that you get from finishing the main campaign may be like in line with basically what you may get on the release date. At the moment, since we are playing this early access, no heroic access, things like that, which is fair enough. You know, I feel like early access was, I think it focuses more on rep gain and just obviously familiarizing and story.
Leveling characters and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about like monetization of like the early access, but at the moment it's pretty basic in regards to like things you can access, and it does give obviously the leveling bonus. But like I said, I'm not going to talk about the actual monetary aspects of video games here. We're going to get on with the more important things, like looking and waving at Anduin here and giving him a whole actually,
our decision to continuously include Murloc Anduin has a rather cruel undertone now, as he has the light-infused Charlemagne, and poor Anduin does not.
and Anduin, he has books all over him. Oh, dude, how did that happen?
Oh no.
You got fleas. Oh, dude, come on. That's been out in the desert. You got like desert flies.
We need at least 4 quests mentioning how bad he smells.
No, Port. My God, you can't say that about Anduin. He's gone through so much. He needs hugs and a nap and all that stuff.
He's looking very crunchy here. He looks really rough, which is something that I appreciate. Like his face is all banged up.
Though definitely not intentional. His hair definitely looks very sun-bleached.
He looks like an Australian guy in summer. Australian white guy in summer. I met at least 20 Anduins lookalikes in my life, so...
They did fix his beard. There is no more massive block chin.
Yes. I'm glad. The positives. No more weird, like you said, pointy sort of block chin. His model's not bad. There we go.
The cloak is very lovely rendered, I will say. The texture on that is very good.
It's not bad at all. Like, there we go. Like it could have been. I'm holding up a finger. Could have been a lot worse. He's looking all right. There we go. And that's high praise from me. There we go. So. Thrall is looking beautiful though. Thrall is, I think, the winner here. Like Mr. Handsome in the middle here.
Gorgeous in his doom plate.
I will say, I still am very frustrated that they made the doom plate blue. The doom plate should be black.
It's funny though, like people keep on saying that, and I have mild color blindness. To me, it's grey. Like full stop. It's just grey. I'm like, yeah, blue guys. I know what you're all talking about.
I will say, hers is slightly brighter, but Jaina's robe and Thrall's armor are the same color.
Oh, okay. Oh no.
Yeah, Janus is like more saturated.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna go over here into my corner of can't see colors correctly.
Okay, let's get to Moira. Her dad's awake, and we're just making the poor guy stand here.
Yes. Very hilariously enough, they had the pull down in the artifact chamber here. They had the pull down bed. Very good for random injuries. They couldn't put him off on the side for him. They had to use the pull down. Anyway, Magni, let's get started on your story. Let's get in here. So that was quite a nap. You can say that again, Magni. Okay, a mysterious warning. Magni notes that was quite a nap. He wasn't expecting Azeroth to be so loud. For normal folk, she's usually gently calling out, but with our connection to Magni, felt like she was screaming. Full stop, directly into my crystal noggin. I saw it though, Adelgonn, an island of Earthen bathed in fire and smoke. Basically, Magni's like, it's on fucking fire and destruction's going on there. An eerie warning of the future or ? But we'll see. Okay, we're going to discuss our next steps with Magni.
Kaz Algar. The Titan installation mentioned in Ultiman's records.
And it may now be in danger. We must convene the council.
Also, props to whoever actually made Magni glittery. If you move him around the room, his shine on the floor, the lighting,
Oh, well, that is because the center of the room, there's a light source here. So you can notice that, he just happens to be sitting on the light source.
It's a disco ball. They've literally lit up this room with Magni because of that light source. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to talk to Khadgar. He wants to discuss Magni's revelation with the Council of Dalaran. Please wait here while they converse. And we say, of course, we'll wait for you here.
Always happy. Once more, Dalaran is called to the aid of our world. Magni?
Azeroth showed me a vision of a city in flames in the ancient lands of Kaz Algar. Her voice was desperate. We must act quickly.
Archmage Drendon has proposed, and the Council agrees, that we bring the full force of Dalaran to this Kaz Algar. Make ready, our people, and prepare the city for teleportation. Whatever lies ahead, we will face it together.
Well, all I've got to say is I will say this too. Illyria is looking quite lovely in her sparkly spandex outfit. It's Lurex. It's Lurex. That's the glitter on it. She's going full Lurex.
I will say, while I am still not necessarily a fan of the design itself, I have warmed up to the idea of her changing so drastically after her animated short, because it did a much better job of explaining that this, in a way, is Illyria starting to lose herself. This is Illyria sacrificing more and more pieces of herself as she delves further into the void. And I do think that for that purpose, this outfit does a good job of very much stripping her of her elven heritage.
Yeah, agreed. And like I said, I actually like the plot in regards to that short too. So, and it does make sense in regards to that as well. It's a good sort of connection between those two sort of things.
I will say, I wish she didn't lose all of the iconic Illyria bits, but it is still a very good kind of transition into her being more about the void than her high elf self.
We can understand it. Essentially, I think is a good way of putting it. Maybe the outfit will become green and gold in the distant future, but we'll wait and see. Maybe it can clash too bad with her intense glowing blue eyes now and bright blue eye makeup.
God knows it won't clash with her sisters, because her sisters and her all have the same color scheme now.
It's like it's one of these Windrunner sisters. I can't tell which one is which now. So
Poor Varisa. Her sisters steal her color scheme, steals her city, steals her plotline.
but can they steal her bloodlust? I know, poor Ovarisa's sort of like, again, it's another weird sort of like, this character should be here, but the character is not. I think actually that is, we'll see as we go through the quest, and I think that my opinion will remain unchanged on that. And I know that they said they were changing this as well. They were like, well, I will say who should be here for these quests. I don't think they've adhered to that personally from what I've seen. So anyway, we'll talk about that as we go. We're up to Khadgar now, and we're going to talk. So, a mysterious warning. The council has decided we travel to Kaz Algar. Dalaran will teleport as soon as we're able. Will you lend us your aid? Yeah, of course. No, actually, we're leaving. Handle it yourself, old man. The citizens must be prepared for Dalaran's departure. Can you ask around the city and see if anyone requires aid? I'll also like you to speak to Bran and also Archmage Drendon. Both had concerns that would be best to address before we depart for Kaz Algar. Okay, let's go to talk to the people of the city. I like that. And we're going to pick up Bran's quest.
So I'm glad they finally gave Bran a new outfit and not his vanilla garb.
A lot of people say, like, oh, the bronze beards. I've got to say this. I really like the bronze beards for being the messiest. I think they could be messier than the Windrunners and the Storm Ragers. So Bran's quest is just simply go talk to the two air quotes, explorers groups. But Drendon, strengthen the wards.
Watch your step. If Kaz Algar is under attack, we must prepare for the worst. You'll need to perform the strengthening spell in key locations. The wand will do the rest.
Don't like to open with a complaint, but the voice acting for Drendon is obviously clearly vaguely evil. Much like, who was that guy in Dragonflight that I was like, why did they even let this guy in? He sounds like a mustache-twirling villain right now. But oh, that's right. It was the blue Draconoid, basically, in that quest where with the Emerald Dream. Another contrivance is all I've got to say. I hate quests like that. And as we do this with Drendon, it's another contrivance, because when we do these orbs that Syl's doing at the moment on the recording, it's very clear that there's void magic in those ones, is all I've got to say. This is the thing. The complaint about Drendon is clearly Xalatath, right? It's like, obviously. All of us have talked about this too, by the way, in regards to how Xalatath's villainy / plotting should be essentially handled in regards to these things. If you write the character being stupid, it also lessens your villain's intelligence. And at the moment, Xalatath seems really fucking dumb because she expects this to work. And that's really unfortunate, because I know that people are, oh, I'm just doing the quest. You know, it's very, very clear that something is going on with Drendon. We've talked about the idea of like how essentially this could have been improved with the use of, let's just say, a red herring sort of plot. And it just only has to be minor. It only has to be minor. The devs don't have to go out the way to do something like this. Like, they can still keep it rather, you know, cut and dry.
So do this one so that we can have it on the recording.
Oh, yeah. There we go. You do your, yeah, there we go. Orb. See this? The shadow, like big explosions of blue magic rather than purple. And the other tell of just letting a random adventurer wave a wand near Dalaran's very sensitive defense magic. We're not bloody mages. We're a paladin, we're a priest, and we're a invoker. Like, hello? What are we doing here? We should not be at the butterflies. I do love this, by the way, too. Very good world building in a sense of like talking to the peoples of Dalaran.
Yeah, it's a nice showing things with Dalaran. It's just a bit of a shame. It's the last time.
Yes, exactly. And much like I often talk about like Rathian's quest back in Dragonflight, the premise could have worked, right? And I feel it's the same way with Dalaran here, but I don't think the delivery is done well at all.
I will say, this joint expedition sure is looking very one-sided.
What do you mean by that, Port? Come on, we've got a human and a dwarf and a human and a murloc and a gnome, and we got this one blood elf, but you know, like...
But she's actually part of the Explorers League.
The Horde is represented here. Can't you feel that, like, for the Horde emphasis here with this night elf? So, yes, the positives about this, we get to see, like, the peoples of Dalaran like that. The idea of this whole Drendon thing with Xalatath, I'm sorry, but it's really, really dumb. They should have made a red herring quest. And what I mean by that is that Drendon should have been a red herring as to the next steps of this. Xalatath should have been like, of course he'd be expecting this random guy who's come back after years of not being involved with, you know, the Council of Six. They'd be suspicious of that. Right, but I can use that to my advantage. While they're suspicious of this guy that they can't seem to find anything wrong with, I can work via this. And like we've said before, it would have been a good idea if Xalatath would have killed one of the council members and taken their form other than Drendon. And used Drendon as a appropriate sort of distraction, because of course Khadgar would be on high alert because of everything Ilaria's said to him and how Ilaria's feeling at the moment. Okay, so we've done all of our quests here. Do you want to start with Drendon? Oh no, we're turning brands. I'm here next to Syl.
Yeah, I already turned in Brendan's. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'll just read Drendon's right now. So he just says, "Well done, champion. Let's hope it's enough. I would hate for anything to happen to our city right when the world needs us most." Oh, would you now? Would you now?
I will say, on Drendon's model, one detail I do like is that they chose made shoulder pads that match Xalatath's silhouette. In some ways makes it a bit less subtle, but in others is a good kind of...
It is pretty funny. I'm going to say that. And like you said, it's a good little bit of like, okay. I am going to say that I would have preferred him to be a red herring.
Also, the fact that he is literally in a red outfit. Come on.
He's the literal red herring.
A red herring, exactly. Just have Khadgar and the champion follow this guy around Dalaran, and we're like, he must be up to no good, right? But he really isn't. Anyway, then we get distracted. Let's just say this. We really want to push a horror theme with Xalatath. So Vanilla WoW actually had a very good sense of horror themes. Also, Wrath of the Lich King. I'm thinking specifically of Yogg-Saron and the Yogg-Saron boss fight. I think it would have been a lot more unnerving, and I'm not saying even scary, at least unnerving for the player to follow Drendon around, realize there isn't really anything sus about this man, but you're feeling a bit stranger about him. And Khadgar's like, there must be something more. You and Khadgar go into a part of Dalaran and the music stops. You walk in and it's just an empty room. And Khadgar's like, well, there's obviously nothing here. You turn and behind you something drips on the floor. It's that void ooze. And you're like, huh, weird. Cue a live action cutscene, so as you're hitting the door, instead your character turns around and looks up at the ceiling, and one of the other council members' bodies is stuck to the ceiling with like a void portal around it. They look dead as hell. It's really unnerving. There's no sound except your character and Khadgar going, what the hell? Oh my god, this council member is dead. And so who was it that we just saw just earlier? And we're like, holy shit, is that Xelatath? But what about Drendon? Is he Xelatath? Who is it? You race back and you corner Drendon, and he honestly says to you, I don't know what you're talking about. I've been busy. So let's just say somewhere else in Azeroth needed a superior mage, you know, whether it was like research or a small like school or other mages needed him doing something else. And he's like, but I got a missive from Dalaran from said dead mage. I got a letter from my wife, but she's been dead for 3 years. He comes back to Dalaran, and Xelatath has been basically using him as a red herring. You find out it's this other council member, but it's already too late. Xelatath's just been having free roam of the city. She can mess with the wards herself. She's, as we can see, she's very corporeal, so she can certainly interfere with things. Or maybe she got another member of the council, or even Drendon himself to adjust the wards because he's been out of the loop for so long. He's just like, oh, this other council member told me to do it. It must be fine, right? And then it's all too late. I think that would have maybe been more appropriate and a little bit more effective in regards to that. And essentially it gives Xelatath then that sort of intelligence that I think this quest takes away from her. She relies on the player's stupidity, but it makes her herself look incredibly stupid, because it's like, how would anyone ever expect that this random mage that you haven't seen in ages has come back and there isn't something slightly suspicious about it? I mean, what if we just would have attacked her on the spot? Like, it relies a lot on the trust of the people around her, but as we know, we're already intensely distrustful because we know Xelatath is a threat at the moment, and we know that she's been up to all sorts of no good, and that's what we're basically relying on here. So it feels very odd that our characters would just inherently go, yeah, this is okay, and it makes our characters look stupid, and it also makes Xelatath look stupid for thinking, because you need a lot of trust in thinking that the player's stupid, right, to allow that to work. And I think that is the major issue I hold with this. And it's, again, I hate to bring Mr. He will not be named here, Rathian, but it's very much in the same vein as Rathian's quest. It relies a lot on the player's stupidity, and it doesn't deliver, because the concept itself is a good idea. Like, Xelatath has taken the place of a council member who's, you know, like, and then causes the destruction of Dalaran from the inside. That's a good concept, but its delivery is half-baked here, unfortunately. And all it would take is a little bit of change to those quests. It doesn't need a 20 quest line plot. It just needed, like, go around with Khadgar behind Drendon and see what he's up to. Follow that other character. Oh, he's not up to anything? That's really weird. And then you get distracted by going into that other place in Dalaran and you find the dead corpse on the ceiling, you know, or pinned to the wall, or something equally unsettling with no music playing, because we want to do a nice callback to the old gods and the unsettling no music chittering noises in the wall. Even if Xelatath isn't an old god or related to the old gods, it still creates that sort of unnerving sense of, like, Anksharak, or how you pronounce that. I can never. The place with the bugs in Silitha. So that sort of unnerving energy. It takes a lot to scare people. It doesn't even need to be scary. It just needs to be unnerving. We want to push the unnerving energy of Xelatath, and the idea you can't even trust the people around you. How do we know in the plotline she isn't one of those characters?
Which in turn would have made us relate to Illyria better, because we would have experienced that with someone that actually is integrated into the plot and not just a dude who showed up 2 minutes ago.
Exactly. Like, we sympathise with Illyria then, because we start feeling a little bit paranoid too. Like, we got fooled dead easy at the beginning of this because of the red herring, and it's like, yeah, it must be Drendon, haha, and then we're like, oh, it isn't Drendon, and it was something that was out of our control. It had already happened. When did it happen? We don't know. How long has it been happening? We don't know. That sense of, like, insecurity and sense of unknown and sense of being unnerved would have been more appropriate. And it's like, then you can at least go, damn, shit, holy fuck, Dalaran was already screwed from that beginning part. Like, how could we have stopped this? That sense of, like, loss of control, essentially. Okay, anyway, enough of me going on about that.
Before we get to Khadgar, I would like to point out a certain someone in the corner over here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, he's just sitting. This guy isn't throwing rocks.
Guess who he's cosplaying from Shadowlands?
Don't get me started on Bane either. Oh my god, poor Bane. And you know what? At least Anduin isn't throwing rocks though. Just to be a petty bitch here. Yeah, that's right.
Just chucking pebbles around the chamber of the Guardian.
Anyway, poor old Anduin just sort of sitting here too. Once I would have rallied to this cause, but now I can't help but see everything that could go wrong. Don't worry, Anduin, it's very clear cut. We did it. We've caused this to Dalaran because we just fucked up all of Dalaran's defenses. It's entirely on the player. And not once does the player go, there is shadow energy coming out of this wand. Never mind. Anyway, I can only pray that I'm wrong. And that's another thing. We rarely see Anduin pray. Do you pray, my dude? Do you pray? Again, the devs shine us when it comes to religious aspects of the light. But let's hope that changes with Hallowfall. I'm raising my eyebrow here. Okay, back to Khadgar. Khadgar's all like, are we all ready to leave? Let's go. Let's hop on our plane and depart here. Our city-shaped plane. Also, this is such a nitpick. Is momentum built with teleporting? And if so, I can understand the shelves being knocked over of that Dalaran citizen. But if there's no momentum, why did the shelves fall over?
Well, that was explained in Legion, actually, because some things don't get perfectly displaced, so some things do. In Legion, when it teleported to above Karazhan, we have to help a gnome who is half stuck in a wall and half stuck in a water tank.
No! Poor guy. And dear Lord, I'm eating my hat here. I'm eating my hat. We do have momentum.
Oh.
It's even more amazing than I'd imagined.
But my visions were of fire and war.
Something's wrong. I need to find Khadgar. Drendon. Where's the rest of the council?
Drendon's been dead for
years.
I will say, Illyria's face looks, it looks the same as it always has, but it makes me wonder why her face looks so different in game. Because she has like these nose folds, she has these scars, these wrinkles, she has these very dark, unnerving sclera, but then on her cinematic model, it's just normal Illyria.
She does look very young, I think, like her cinematic model. Like she looks, I don't know, like a baby-faced, fresh-faced ranger, elven ranger, I guess.
I guess makes sense given elves, but then we also see people like Lorthamar, who is distinctly not a young baby-faced ranger. He is old man.
He's very scarred, yes.
He is a man though, Paul, and he can be rugged in the World of Warcraft universe. You have to remember, all the ladies need to be olayed up.
Jaina reached a certain age threshold, and now she is reversing.
Also, to Kaz Algar, she was Archmage Drendon. No exclamation mark, Illyria, shaking my head. All along, Xalatath has been watching, plotting, right in front of me. How could I be so blind? And now she's invading Dalaran with an army of Nerubians. Xalatath planned this. All of this. She wanted us to come to Kaz Algar. Okay, duh. As much as I'd love to hunt Xalatath down, our first priority must be securing civilians. Okay, reasonable. Rescue whoever you can and tell them to head to the landing nearby. I will find mages and teleport everyone to safety. Fair enough. I don't mind the action bit with this, I have to say. Like you're saying still, like it does certainly have a sense of like urgency about it all. That's all okay. Like I said, again, the concept makes sense. You're like, oh, we want Xalatath to invade Dalaran, and then we have like a cool escape scene from Dalaran, and that we can do a 3D experience at Gamescom for.
I will say, as a resident major Dalaran fan and High Elf fan, I made sure to save every High Elf on my first run through. Our numbers are low enough.
Ah, you're like, everyone, come with me. And notably, a lot of Dalaran citizens die too. I know as well. Like,
well, including Ross and Rachel from Friends.
no, well, they won't be getting any new seasons. It seems.
Come over. Look, you can come over here and look.
Hold on, let me see. Okay.
Right here at the entrance.
Right here. No! Oh, God.
No,
Rachel! No! Oh
And
my
then
God.
I think he's over here. Yeah, here's at the other entrance.
Roscoe, no!
Roscoe! No!
I will say, the poor bartender, her boo thing died.
God! Her hot thing on the side. No.
No.
A real Asher gaze. No. God. Yeah, like I said, they kind of were like, yeah, these guys all dying. And you know what? Like I said, I don't mind that. It's like this is terrible for Dalaran, right?
I will also say it is a step up from Teldrassil, where it is vague as to who survived for 6 years in real life until they show up again. So at least now they're making it very clear. These are the characters who die. These are the characters who escape.
It's a nice sort of thing as long as you get like some sort of like closure in regards to those. Like you said, Teldrassil was very like, whoa, people died. And like you said, it's like, well then who, you know, because your NPCs were there.
I'm very thankful that my favorite minor blorbo in Dalaran, the High Elf Blacksmith, he did survive. He is not dead.
Oh, phew, what a relief.
I know everyone was holding on for dear life, holding their breath to know that very important plot.
And now we know. You know what? If High Elven Blacksmith has no fans, I am dead. I am a fan of him too now.
We joke, but I do actually think he will show up at midnight, just because he's the guy who helps us further reforge Fellow Malorn as a mage.
Ooh, okay then. So we're waiting to see him come back then. Also, like I said, midnight we're going to see, obviously they needed some elves that have been like living, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's, some elves that have been living like cohabitating at least with like.
Well, not exactly cohabitating the whole time.
We're not going to talk about Mr. Pandora.
If Jaina can forget it, so can we.
Yeah, I mean, Jaina, who's done nothing wrong in her life, ever. According to Blizzard, #1 beautiful girl who has no blood on hands.
Oh, wait, hold on. We finished the quest. Hold on. This is going to sound really dumb. Can you two abandon the quest and redo it? Because I would like to show you something specific.
Okay.
Okay, let's go again.
All right, abandon breach.
Abandon.
Well, thankfully it teleports us.
Shit. Yeah, right back to the beginning.
Okay.
Okay.
Lead the way, Paul.
We'll have to. We don't have to push our way through looking at everything after, but there's one specific NPC we need to rescue. Oh, I was wondering how you could mount for a second. I was like, you're cheating.
You know what? Yeah, I'm hacking right now. Don't look at me. My goat. It's okay.
Oh, Aerith.
No, we'll save you. Yes, there we go. Close one. Aerith lives. I don't even know whether in that remake of Final Fantasy VII whether she lives. She dies in that, doesn't?
Well,
oh shit! Spoilers. Aerith dies.
Spoilers
Holy
for a 30-year-old game.
Oh no, God! But now she lives.
I believe she does die in the remake or in Rebirth, but they're still going with the whole alternate timeline plot, and they've made different stuff, and Aerith isn't actually dead, and the game ends with her in Cloud's head, and no one else can see her, and welcome to Final Fantasy.
It's just like Advent Children, where she lives in Cloud's head in that movie.
Now, looking back at Advent Children, you know what? Respect to a real one. Respect. I went and saw that in cinema when I was a kid.
I'm very mixed on a lot of the Final Fantasy VII sequels because I'm a big fan of narrative themes, if it wasn't obvious, and I really love a lot of the themes of acceptance, of death, and of loss, and being able to move on in the original game. And a lot of the subsequent games have a lot of issues of, oh, our game's really fucking popular. Let's cash in on the characters that are really popular.
Yes, Dirge of Cerberus.
I will say this. This may be sacrilege talking about Dawntrail while we're playing WoW here. I heard good things about Dawntrail's story. My girlfriend really enjoyed it. Like she said, not the best.
Yeah, it is definitely not Final Fantasy's best.
Yeah,
but I would put it on I would put it roughly on par with like Legion in WoW of good narrative themes, good action, nothing egregiously like, oh, this is wrong, this is bad, but missed potential and some very sloppy movement from point A to point B.
Notably true, given that the benefit of the doubt in a sense of like it is also the first expansion and a new arc for said MMO. So
Yes.
ironically enough, War Within Dawn Trail share a
But
lot of...
also it is notably a new writer because while she is still a writer at the company, she is a supervisor, Ishikawa, who is the one who wrote the last two expansions. There's a new lead writer for both Endwalker Patch Stories and now Dawn Trail, and a lot of the issues that WoW has sometimes where he doesn't really know what subtlety is, and when you want to show a theme in a story, it gets shown by the character just saying that theme to the camera. By the time you are done with Dawn Trail, you will never want to hear the words peace and happiness ever again. It's very much the version of Honor from BFA, where characters couldn't go 5 minutes without saying the word honor.
Legacy from Dragonflight. Like my girlfriend said, it was an enjoyable route, and she's a Stormblood enjoyer.
I am too. I have always been a Stormblood enjoyer, and it is also an expansion with flaws, but I think very different flaws from, like, subtlety is not the issue in... If anything, subtlety is the issue in the wrong direction in Stormblood, because a lot of people don't really understand the themes of Stormblood because they're a bit too subtle. Like with poor Lise, a lot of people really write Lise off because they fail to understand her themes.
And the thing is, it's like, yeah, that's always going to happen. Like I said, it's getting that nice sort of balance, eh? So either way, anyway, and we're getting distracted.
We could probably cut our Stormblood Final Fantasy talk.
No, that's interesting. Like I said, there is some, ironically enough, thematic connections between it being the first of a new arc in Final Fantasy XIV and supposedly War Within being the first in the arc of a new story for World of Warcraft, even though I'd argue that they tried to do that with Dragonflight, but
yeah,
depending, I think it was because of the reception of the main story of Dragonflight, they sort of were like, well...
I think also that they were going for a new arc, but then I think they weren't really going for an arc in the sense of the World Soul Saga, because as was mentioned in Chris Metzen's recent interview, he came in after the War Within was like 10 or 11 months in development already. So the base story we're seeing here was already written before the World Soul Saga. Obviously, it has definitely been tweaked and changed to facilitate a longer arc, but the story they were writing here was intended to be a standalone expansion in the same vein of Dragonflight. And so I think that is something to keep in mind with a lot of the characters of... Certain characters do have a bit of story finality in a way that doesn't initially feel like it facilitates a 3 expansion arc. And I will be curious to see where that goes, because at the moment, the War Within has a lot of the overarching world threat connections to what will happen in Midnight, of like, oh, obviously, we're dealing with the Void. That's going to lead into the world's Void invasion in Midnight. That is a very obvious one. But a lot of the character things for basically everyone that isn't Illyria, I am very curious as to how they will continue to matter past this expansion.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing too, I mean, I'm not using any sort of... I'm using a bit of foresight here, essentially, but I'm not sure whether this is anything relevant. But, like, for example... Now that they are planning those expansions ahead, they can definitely have characters say, okay, well, I'm leaving for the next expansion, but I am doing this with these characters. Don't worry about me. I'm off actually doing this. Like, they have a definitive explanation of where that character is.
Do you know who would have had a really good opportunity to showcase that with right at the start? A certain other Windrunner sister who, in the wake of her city being destroyed, you maybe have her go off and petition aid to find relief for the remaining elven people of Dalaran and the human citizens of Dalaran, and have her go off and coordinate with Umbric, coordinate with Turalian, have them try and figure out the political things while Illyria is off doing the action hero stuff.
I think that's one thing that the WoW devs still really underestimate. People like knowing where characters are, because the thing is, at least then it's like, well, of course that character isn't here. They're there. Like, we know that, like you said, Varisa is off in Silvermoon and she's petitioning people, like, desperately. Like, she can't help with, obviously, like, let's just say she's too far away from the combat, but, like, she's like, Illyria has this, I believe in my sister, but I need to go do this because we desperately need help. We're severely, under thing. A character that they haven't done that well, again, with is poor old Rathian. We know that he's after Kiradon.
He's looking for a Redicon somewhere.
But ironically enough, you'd be like, well, isn't that the main role of the aspects?
Also, isn't that here?
It's like, it should be a role that the aspects should be doing, because the aspects should be chasing the major dragon threat, much like that. So, but Rathian has nothing to do with the aspects anymore. I mean, that was hammered into his last expansion. He's not in any sort of leadership role, can't even use his title of prince anymore. He's basically nothing. So why is he chasing after Kiradon? What's he gonna fucking do when he finds him? Bite one of his toes? It's very strange, and I know it's because they're like, we don't want to write this character anymore, so we need him gone. So again, but so much could be delivered to players, like, okay, he's actually over here and he is doing this, or like he's with the Black Talon in blah. But who knows? It may be coming. Wait and see, I guess, guys. Anyway, but agreed with Varisa though. Like, Varisa is a very critical sort of like gap here in a sense. Where is she?
Why must the world curse me with having Blorvos that the story does not really want to show up?
But anyway, here we go. We'll continue with Illyria here.
Which I will say, this teleport animation when you turn in the quest is gorgeous.
Oh, it's really cool. Okay, so she's like, come with me. We need to rescue some more. Like I said, that's some really... one thing that I can really note that's really improved, well, to me personally, but I always think that it's been pretty good. Effects, like something that always needs a little bit of improvement, I think, is animations. But...
Well, even in that department, obviously, they aren't adding new animations. Like, obviously, hey, this. Very good use of dynamic environment.
Yes, that is like, oh shit, oh no. I did almost climb over this. I was letting Sil know. I was like...
Why can't arcane mages have these spell effects over here? Like look at this spell effect right here. Imagine if the arcane mages could have this.
I think that's one thing that WoW is still very shy about. More animations for characters and more like cool effects for spells. It's okay. Like,
unfortunately, you can see some of that trepidation with hero talents, and some of them being a bit more lacking than others. Thankfully, the one I will be choosing has very snappy visual effects, which you will see probably.
So did you pick what hero talent you want for Invoker?
Not yet. I'm gonna make a split-second decision live on recording.
Also, hey Anduin, down here. Oh, I've got something to whinge about with this.
Glad to see you haven't evacuated yet. The Norubians are capturing the rogues who live down here. Let's rescue them.
Jeez, Anduin, you're in the sewer. You smell.
Yeah, Anduin, you smell like sweat because you've been out in the desert for this long, and like, you smell like an Aussie workman who's just been out on the work site. My family is blue-collar workers. I'm allowed to say that. I'm teasing.
Anduin's like, yes, the sewer. That's where I belong right now.
Stinky man.
A friend once showed me a path through here. Head to that sewer grate.
Oh, whoops. Sorry, I think I totally went the wrong way too.
No. I think yeah, we're in the right way. We just got this.
It is this way, yes.
Oh wait, yes. Enter the sewer gate. Okay, I got turned around there for a second. I'm not a rogue.
I mean, hey, we can explore the rogue order hall, I guess.
The exit should be on the right.
So is this the rogue order hall, or?
Yeah, this is the rogue order hall.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And here's our exit.
Like, you can see in there's Noggenfogger's bank back there. There's the artifact tree. If you look down here, you can see the Hall of Shadows.
And that's the thing. Now, this is my complaint about this with Anduin down in the sewer. It says that someone told Anduin about the Rogue Order Hall. Now, I'm an Uncrowned fan. And the thing is that this relies on the idea, and this is a long Anduin video and a complaint that I bring up here. People who should not be giving this information to Anduin give this information to Anduin on the concept and idea that he is infallible. He would never ever hurt these rogues who are the uncrowned, who are against the monarchy. No. He's a cool monarch. He's one of the hip ones. He would never ever misuse that information whatsoever. Oh, he's just perfect. This king is like the most wonderful, greatest guy ever in the entire universe. I'm sick of that with Anduin. Like, the person, first of all, obviously doesn't take the role within the Uncrowned seriously, because they're just like, Anduin, want to know on this information? And they're specifically telling the King of Stormwind about this anti-monarchist group. Even if they're like, look, we're okay, like, as long as the monarch's following the rules, they're okay. Hey, did you remember that Anduin led his people into a war against the Horde, and he fucked up so many times, like, and caused a lot of deaths? Like,
or, you know, the idea that, oh, the Uncrowned, this group that is very notoriously cross-faction, like, hey, 3 members of the Desolate Council are a part of the Uncrowned, and they're fine with Anduin knowing about the Sticky Sinker base.
I'm just actually speechless about that, because it really fucks up the Uncrowned sort of like, it fucks up the respect that the Uncrowned member.
Well, don't worry, I'm sure they'll show Kalia about the next base just to make it even.
I just hate it. I just really don't like that. It undermines both the organization of the Uncrowned, treats its members like it don't give a fuck about the Uncrowned. They don't give a shit. They don't care about being Uncrowned. They're just like, obviously, you know, spoiled as to their positions outside of the Uncrowned. Like, there's no loyalty to Anduin fucking Wren. And of course, though, it's okay though, because he's a good ruler. There's good kings and then there's bad kings, but Anduin's one of the good kings. WoW devs, all monarchs are bad. I'm going to put my foot down. All monarchs are bad.
I think the issue is they need to distinguish between the idea of this individual with the current title of monarch is bad versus the monarchy is bad. And they need to understand that even if an individual like Anduin is a good person, he is still holding a position of unconditional hereditary power that he did not earn.
Yeah, he was just born into it. And they're saying that Anduin could never be fallible to tell that information to someone else. I know it's a minor quibble, but like, come on, be serious. Be serious about your groups that you have made. Don't you want the Uncrowned to be cool? Don't you want them to be cool? Don't you want them to be like, oh, they don't. They don't.
They called themselves the Uncrowned because the mostly not crowned, but some of us are crowned, and some of us are actually fine with other people being crowned. Did not quite roll off the tongue.
Good kings and queens, Port. Good kings. They could never do this. Oh my god. I'm doing the little heart in front of me with my fingers. Oh my god, they could never do this. Ooh.
I think we all have plenty of time to rant about Anduin later. We have more Dalaran ranting to do.
Okay, fine. Anduin's like, if best if we split up here, I'll guide everyone to safety and I'll be getting them evacuated.
It does make you wonder, where is safety? Because this leads to nothing.
Anduin just runs him out the side of Dalaran and goes,
like,
bye, rogue.
That sewer drops off the edge.
Yeah, everyone just falls. Like, whoa! And Anduin's like, well, that sorted out that problem. No more Uncrowned. And then cackles as he makes his way back into Dalaran. Oh, boy. Anyway, Anduin wants us to get back to the surface and find Khadgar. Rightio, Blorbo. Bye. Enjoy your fall into the drink.
This is another sad death, because this is the first NPC you meet in the Uncrowned as a rogue.
Oh, yeah, Jack Vindel, yeah. Oh my god, again, they've ruined the Uncrowned in one fell swoop in a fucking throwaway quest.
I could probably make an entire video just ranting about the ways in which Blizzard doesn't utilize the Uncrowned at all.
It's so many groups that could be inherently interesting. You know, as like, oh.
High in the sky and nowhere to flee. Gather all you can find. Bring them below. Xalatath has plans for them.
I've always been curious as to how they do voice direction in the different pieces of story, and how there's a very distinct difference between cinematic voice direction and game voice direction. And I don't want to say all across, but generally a quality difference in favor of the cinematics. Like, I think the best example is Sylvanas, where Sylvanas in game, particularly in earlier iterations, is very, very nasally. And they rely a lot on the echoey voice filter. But when you look at her in cinematics, she speaks like a normal person. Like, obviously she has that certain twang to her voice because that's just how Patty Madsen voices her. But it's a lot more subdued and feels a lot more like a natural person speaking who happens to just have that voice pitch. And it's part of what made me notice in the recent Illyria cinematic, where she sounded a lot more like the in-game voice direction in how she was doing that fake British voice. You would abandon Quell Thalos.
It's Quell Thalos. She's trying to do the posh. She's got marbles in her
Yes.
mouth, you know.
Which I suppose makes a bit more sense for High Elf Sylvanas, but it's just one of those funny things, and you can kind of notice that with Ansarek too, where she had a lot more subdued and a bit higher pitch of her voice in the cinematic, and it emulated a bit more of that kind of Nerubian sound of the creepy, spidery sound that you would kind of associate with them, which you wouldn't really do with a very deep pitched voice. Like I don't think it's bad, but it's very different is the word I guess for it.
It's noticeable. It's noticeable.
Also, or Ronin and his statue getting fucking blown up.
Yeah, with the smoke coming out of it. And also, by the way, with Queen Ansarek, by the way, not going into the social media arguments about her appearance from a spider appearance. I will say this: I'm actually gonna bet on Blizzard's side for once. I know, hold your breath, everyone. I actually think that the difference in appearance was in regards to easier rigging for animations when she's talking. It makes giving her a human face makes it a lot more easier for that.
I do think. Even beyond that, even if that wasn't a constraint, I actually really like it because I've written about this extensively. I really like the angle of what is body horror to a Nerubian, and how for us, Nerubians are terrifying. They're these big spider tor monsters. They have these multiple eyes, these weird inhuman mouths, these pincers. But I'm saying I enjoy that because for them, what is the most horrifying? Well, and I love them, but I'm saying from a general perspective, we're not supposed to find the Nerubians cute. I find the Nerubian models cute, but you're not. They're supposed to be inhuman spiders. So for an inhuman character design, the most horrific thing is becoming more like a human. It is losing their eyes that are made for the darkness with their slits. It is losing their mouths that are made for how spiders eat their food. It is losing their multiple limbs that help them climb and help them spin their webs. And so having that angle, I think, is really creative. And obviously, it has that alternate benefit of being more marketable, which is always a plus for companies like Blizzard. But I think they justified it in a really creative way.
Yeah. And like I said too, I think it would be easier to animate too, especially for cutscenes and stuff, than trying to animate several different mandibles.
Even then, I think a lot of the times they just don't really animate those. They mostly just have a static face and then one mouth bone.
We will probably get a fancier cinematic, though. That's the thing after the raid ends, so they probably needed something they could just quickly. And that's fair. Actually, that is one thing I'll never criticize: reusing assets. I actually do think that is the best thing you can do. It saves time, saves your workers money. Saves your company money and saves your workers agonizing over something.
Doesn't save the workers money, sadly.
Good for the unions. Unfortunately, I misspoke there. But yeah, saves the company money and at least gives the workers less fucking agony to try and rig a whole spider's face for one cutscene after a raid. Also, want to come talk to Khadgar?
Wait. Porter needs to get his coin. Porter needs to get his coin from the well.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. I didn't get that on my Dark Ranger.
I missed it on my priest, and I was so sad.
I sold mine on my other character. Again, no complaints in regards to the gameplay of this section. I will say that. No complaints whatsoever. The stress and the dynamics and how they've set up Dalaran here.
Oh, I hadn't noticed. The poor guy who wanted an eye patch, he's now just dead.
No! This random person here. No, oh my god. Okay. Khadgar, I'm glad to see you're okay. There is no end to these Nerubians, I'm afraid, at least for now. Dalaran is lost to us, but the people remain. They must be our primary concern. What do you want me to do?
Take this portal down to Kaz Algar. Those who escape will still need help. I must first find Deliria. We'll meet you when we're able.
Also, mouse over the Dalaran statue, and it has a rather funny name.
D&T Bunny. Okay, I'm turning it in. Cinematics playing.
Also, can I just say, I guarantee no developer remembered it, but poor Catherine's here. He is that central orb in the top of the Violet Citadel, and he just got all that shit poured into him.
Oh my god. Oh. Like
So,
I said,
yeah, there's a Dreadlord on the loose on the Princess
There's a
Zelda now.
Dreadlord! It's like, I guess we'll handle that when we get to it.
I like this cinematic. I think Xalatath looks a little goofy, but I do like the energy of it, I gotta say.
Yeah. I think her lips are what are weird to me.
I think the floating
they use them very
animation is like a little funny. Like there's a moment when she's like floating down the stairs.
Yeah. Also, I will say, this moment when he's using was it Tetraflare?
Yeah, Tetraflare.
Zetaflare. Zetaflare is what it is.
Zetaflare. Donald Duck.
Great, but I think unfortunate that they didn't explain why it didn't work. Because the reason why that didn't work isn't just Xalatath is too cool for you. It's because it got absorbed into the Dark Heart.
Yeah, and it is glowing, by the way, when she does come down. Like the top part is definitely glowing.
I do like the use of Illyria's leitmotif.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, see, it's Dark Heart.
It is a new leitmotif, so.
Yeah. If only there was someone who knew about like Black Dragonflight research was helping out here. Also, I love how people are saying Khadgar still could be alive. Possibly. The thing is, it's not a non-zero chance that he's totally
I think
dead.
he's gonna show up again, and his arm is gonna be gone. Like
or turned into magic.
Or turned into magic. Some kind of like
cool.
malformed void being.
So, poor Atiesh.
I know. No.
Atiesh got wrecked.
I got benediction way back when, but I never got Atiesh, which is a real sad thing.
It makes me so sad. This was my favorite hub, and it's just, maybe it got teleported. My hope in this moment, and then no,
vaporized.
Complete obliteration. It is just rubble everywhere. Like, there is no chance. And the question becomes, how the hell did anyone survive that? Because that did not crash into the ground. That got blown into atoms.
It exploded.
Yeah, it just I can understand all these people fighting here on the floor and maybe who were teleported and maybe teleported clumsily. I'm going to just say, like, in the rush. It's like these guys that everyone who got teleported.
How did the Central Tower survive that? Because that was the thing.
Yeah, that was vaporized. That wasn't just, like, exploded. That was, like, vaporized.
Like, everything in the city got turned into rubble.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like people, like I said, I'm actually going to give the Khadgar enjoyers some hope there. It could definitely be, because the thing is, it isn't like, a swelling of music with like a sad bit, and then it's like Khadgar's 100%.
That is Khadgar is like 10
He's
years
incredibly
now
powerful.
One of the most iconic characters in WoW, and
yes,
for how beloved he is, they are not sending him off in a cinematic that is focused on Illyria and not him.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's like one spell, and then it's like, whoa, that didn't work. It feels very anticlimactic.
I think largely that is part of my issue with the Dalaran stuff, is beyond these few quests we're doing now, the destruction of Dalaran is not about Dalaran. The destruction of Dalaran is about Illyria. And Illyria's turmoil over failing to protect it. And we largely just move on from the actual aftermath of this and what impact it would have on the surviving civilians. Where is the Council of Six? Where are the other members beyond Khadgar?
And why does no one ask how and why? And why isn't our character sweating profusely?
There is an interesting narrative to tell for me of Dalaran has always been a city defined by its hubris, defined by its belief that it is indestructible, its belief that it controls magic, that it can plot out the rules of the arcane, that it can solve the mysteries of the universe. And as a result, they often become victims to their ambition with people like Kael'thas, people like Kel'Thuzad. And so having a story where that willingness to take charge so abruptly, that willingness to put themselves and all of their civilians on the front line like that is a very reckless move. It is a very arrogant move that has cost them. And that's a very interesting story to explore, and to explore how those characters reckon with their own arrogance and their own hubris and the costs that came with. But unfortunately, we're not getting that.
We're not. That's the thing, though. I'm going to put my hands up. That would actually be a very interesting max level quest. Like, after this initial rush and chaos is done with, it allows the players to take a moment and think, man, that really fucking sucked about Dalaran. Like, now that we're just, like, dealt with this initial threat, we have, like, a moment to ourselves. And then reflecting on that, it'd be a very interesting max level quest. And like I said, people have noted that War Within's main campaign is a lot shorter in a sense of like quests and things. Significantly. Will that allow for more max level quests? Because I think that would be actually if there's one thing that I have to trade off the campaign quest of leveling, if someone said to me, but you do get more quests at max level though, I'd be like, ooh.
I will unfortunately have bad news. The answer is no.
Patches, hopefully patches.
The max level War Within campaign is 5 chapters, and one of those 5 chapters is watch a cutscene, establish your base, establish second base, turn in. And the chapter is done.
Putting that aside, like using like maybe sub patches just to get these sorts of quests in. The thing is that okay, so you've skimped essentially on your main campaign, then add in like more 0.5.
We're sitting here talking, and Phil's just over here killing people.
Yeah, okay. Oh, we turn it in. We're talking to Jaina. We survived. Yes, we survived. Nerubians are everywhere. Enemies everywhere. Too many for us all to be solely crash survivors. Oh, too many of them for them all to be solely crash survivors. Now that doesn't work with what we just saw because Dalaran was vaporized. So, okay. Yeah. So there must be like portals open in here. Okay, so Thrall's like, we survived mostly unharmed. Not everyone was so lucky. Many who were in Dalaran when it went down, unaccounted for. No shit, it was vaporized, Thrall. They will need our help. Search the battlefield for survivors and help them in any way you can. I will say, I suppose if you're a powerful mage, you could do like a barrier or something. But like, man, that was like big fucking explosions though.
So on this quest, I do like that Dalaran has stone form, and I'm glad they kept the continuity that dwarves don't naturally know stone form. Because that's been one of those things that I feel has been missing from dwarf story for a very long time, is the fact that the story of the dwarves is rediscovering their heritage and grappling with the imperialism required to rediscover it. And one of those stories was the rediscovery of their stone form, the discovery of their connection to the Earthen. Well, I don't think we're going to see the imperialism aspects in this expansion much, because it's a very different topic. I do appreciate that the story in Moira's short story did touch on that bit, and did touch on the fact that they are continuing to try and uncover some of those things.
Yes, agreed. And another thing too is just like as an aside, that Moira short story was very, very good. I will praise that till it ends. It's very nice seeing a story written by clearly an author who's who knows what they're doing. TM in a sense that been trying to.
Also, don't fly around. You're ruining the immersion.
Oh, sorry. Oh, we're not flying. We're totally not flying. Never flown in my life.
I'm very glad you made a pun, Bran. This is definitely the time for that.
Gotta have a little bit of silly levity. I prefer that it wasn't levity until we're all safe, but like, you know what? Fine. I mean, Bran is known for his silly bit of shenanigans. He is a character who is a bit more light-hearted, but, you know. I guess, like I always say to WoW devs, there is time and place for humor in your stories.
Side note, over here, it's funny that this quest phases the NPC before we're actually on it, which is a smart move, but it makes this one spell guard quite the Chad. Fixing down
Look at him go.
He's just fucking going. He knows what he's doing here.
He's holding the line.
Also, something that was very interesting to me that this quest never point out, Umbric is here.
Oh, yeah.
Where is he?
He's right over here. Him and a bunch of Void Elves. They're just here, I guess.
I actually, like, Yeah, I like the idea that there was a lot of people just like, hanging around in Dalaran, because it is a city that you'd believe a lot of diplomacy would be going on in.
I will say there is one NPC later that is mentioned who actually explicitly has that of just she says, "Oh, I was just here for a quick visit, and now I'm in all this shit." And I feel bad for her, but like surely the Council of Six would have warned people. Like she got stuck. She clearly went there on the premise of it being on the Broken Isles, and they didn't tell people they were gonna teleport it across the planet.
Yeah, that is like I said, Dalaran. So they don't give out a spare warning system. Like if you've just come to Dalaran for like day or a week business, you need to leave right now. Yeah, well, like I said, we're quibbling, but funny to think about. Also, Jaina says unconscionable that Dalaran's been destroyed. Turning in all my quests here. Thrall's like, let's fucking go. In comes Anduin, me hiccuping in between there.
I do find it funny that Ritson just dies and we have to resurrect him.
Oh, the bloody warlock over there.
Yes,
I actually, you know what? In-game mechanics being shown to be used like that, I like that. I actually really, really like that.
It is. I'm glad that because soul stones are one of those huge resurrection mechanics that are canon. Very few are, so it's fun seeing it.
I like it is just warlocks because technically warlocks are like they are prepared to take that risk, and it's like it's incredibly risky. And I like seeing it. And even when he like resurrects, he's like, that fucking hurts, Also, yeah, in comes Anduin. And Anduin's like, I survived too. Clearly, he he floated, levitated down from the sewers.
Well, he's a warrior now. He heroic leaps.
Heroic leaped all the way down. Okay. Secure the breach. Queensguard Zurich has emerged from the ground and surprised Magni. He's near the farthest edge of the wreckage, fighting off his swarm. Moira and I were trying to help, but we couldn't draw them away. Come with me. Magni needs our help. Okay, sure.
But speaking of heroic leap, Thrall
heroic leaping up the ledge. I just saw him. Yeah.
Also, I will say, as the permanent Awhile fan, I am a big fan of the fact that they are distinctly shown here, separate from the Blood Elves and the Void Elves. Also, Jaina here just smacking shit with her staff.
Good for her.
Spells? Who even needs fucking spells? Like, come on, guys. Come on.
Also, I never noticed that Dalaran has his little fire mage spells over here.
Oh, he does?
Aww.
No, cutscene.
See.
We can't hold them!
This is a very good introduction to the Earthen, I will say.
I like this. Like I said, now past that initial part with Dalaran, I actually like this. I like this introduction.
It is both a blessing and a curse. It is frustrating that we move on from Dalaran so quickly, but also the story that we get once we move on is very good. It's just a shame that it is clouded by the fact that we're ignoring this very big event.
Yeah, I'm going to say again, I do not like an introduction sequence. I said there's bits in it that I do like, obviously, but yeah.
Also, I love how assertive Magni is here. Also, the use of the new animations for the female dwarf, so that Moira has that pose.
Yeah. Also, this very alliance-dominated expansion. Just looking at this set, I'm like, oh god, Hoarder. And I do like this, that Moira is smart between her and her father.
Yeah, I like her being politically savvy.
Good way of putting it, so. And again, her short story shows that, so. Also, a light up indicator headpiece, by the way. Looks like she's turning left and right. In her Audi. Okay, we're all here.
More dialogue with various characters.
Yeah. I do have to say this. Very much like the Like hell you will, Zalatath, and Moira's bring it on, Kaz Algar here. This is a minor quibble to writing, but just because you can write things doesn't mean you should write them like that.
I will say, hell is something that is used in Warcraft, yes.
In World of Warcraft, but damned if you are, Zalatath. Does that sound better? Or a narrative irony in that cutscene if Khadgar says, you won't go any further, Zalatath, not as long as I stand in Dalaran. Dalaran gets exploded. Like I said, this is just a minor quibble. Just because you can use those words, it doesn't always sound the best on the air. That's why people made fun of it. If the WoW devs are like, why are people making fun of this? We brought up hell before. Maybe in a cutscene, probably not the best. Like, damned is probably better. Like, damned you are, Zalatath, you know. Like I said, use something witty.
Detail I like. Right now, we the characters, have not seen Illyria since the city blew up. So when you talk to Anduin, he includes both Khadgar and Illyria as the people who are lost. Because we don't know that she's back yet. That's a detail that is often lost on the characters. They kind of just know what happened in the cinematics, but Anduin doesn't.
There we go. Good. That's a little bit of like, you know what, conducive. There we go. We got my minor negative and then this positive. So there we go. And when proving in this expansion, he's a little bit deft. not the brightest tool in the shed. Okay. But yeah, and this is nice. Each character has their own bits of dialogue. Again, me thumbs upping. I'm like, good. That's what we need. Okay, and talking to Belgrim here. You may not be trespassers, but you are not our allies either, Outlander. Oh, we go Morrowind now. Oh, I'm going to talk about the map design too in a second. If you were to blame with the Nerubians merging, you're responsible for the attack on Dornogal as well. Okay, fair enough. Get our asses to Dornogal. You have brought death and destruction to our shores, the likes of which has not been seen in a millennia. Okay, but you have the Nerubian blood on your hands and a Thragar at your side. This is enough to earn my trust for now. My Storm Riders and I must return to our capital, Dornogal, to investigate that is likely an ongoing attack there. Fly with us. Our slipstream will allow you to soar through the skies through ease. I'll send other Storm Riders to collect your allies once it's safe for them to land. Fair enough. I like this. Like I said, I like someone being like, but I do like the irony with Magni sort of like being like, sort of tick it in.
Funny thing I just noticed, these NPCs named Wounded Soldier who are just dead. I think they're more than wounded.
They're just a little bit more than wounded. They're a little bit ouchies right now. They're having not a great time. So are we all ready to fly?
That's a good thematic thing for me to ride, because I don't really have a set mount for Porter.
Ooh. Yeah, let's all get on our little griffins. Come on, Sil.
Oh yeah, let me find mine. Hold on.
Mine is, of course, very fitting for my character.
Yeah.
just
I love
a little
the mount
bit.
Special.
Yeah, the mount special's lovely on the Griffin. Really, really nicely done. And again, me always praising the use of flying quests. It's fun. It's dynamic. It shows you environments. It keeps like pacing up. I like that. That is always something I'll praise.
Yeah, I do like how big these maps feel. Like, it really is fun to fly around in them.
Oh, just wait till you get to Hallowfall.
Oh, I can't wait.
We have sneakily seen Hallowfall on the max that we did on beta was fly around.
We ran down there very quickly.
Yeah, we didn't do any bug reporting because we're like, look, the devs don't want any feedback on story, so we might as well just like fuck around and have a look at places. I'm looking forward to actually seeing Hallowfall filled out in a sense too. And also, just before I forget too, that's what I was just going to talk about with the maps and things. Once again, WoW's pulling a very good leaf out of Guild Wars 2's book, by the way, and I have to praise them on that. And I bet the WoW devs are like, what? No, yeah, guys, yes, you have. Heart of Thorns in Guild Wars 2 is particularly lauded in regards to its verticality of map design. Basically, WoW for the War Within is not copied, but obviously drawn great inspiration from the Heart of Thorns maps, especially the initial map where, of course, airships, very much like that we see in Hallowfall, have crashed after a great battle in the skies with Mordremoth, I believe is the name of the dragon, the jungle dragon. With that map, there's a clear a distinct 3 layers, and the verticality of that map was actually one of the first times I'd ever seen that in MMO design, and it created such a dynamic and unique feel to the map, especially with flying. And I can see that WoW has essentially taken that inspiration for the entire sort of like the coreway and its construction into those different zones. And even the idea of the airship being caught in the spider webs instead in Guild Wars 2, it's vines the airship's caught in. They've taken that sort of like very visual, intelligent design there. And it was, and like I said, Guild Wars 2 really, really had something going for it there. It was actually one of my fondest memories about playing Heart of Thorns. And Heart of Thorns was Guild Wars 2's first expansion. And it was especially designed because after that, they also integrated what we know as dragon riding / dynamic flight into Path of Fire after that expansion. But on that expansion, that verticality was explored using their glider system. And you can see how, like, that, once again, people go, oh my god, copycats. I'm very happy that they copy things like that. I'm very, very happy because it was brilliant, and it was brilliant for back in the day, and it's brilliant to see that reconstructed in WoW's own image here in regards to level design. So, like I said, it's a nice callback. Like I said, they've taken, let's be fair, specifically Griffin riding from Guild Wars 2. It's dragon riding. And now they're examining Guild Wars 2's use of verticality in regards to their maps, because also Guild Wars 2's maps are limited by loading screens between different zones. So Guild Wars 2 had to do with the most within that said area to make it feel very large. And WoW's also used their own technology in regards to seamless transition into each one of those zones. So I'm thumbs up in. And so it's really good. Like I said, you can definitely see with the War Within, very, very, very strong influences of the Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire on each one of the zones too. And also Warhammer as well. You can tell that the WoW devs are fans of Warhammer as well. So props to that. I like that. I like people reusing good ideas into different MMOs. And like I said, hats off to Guild Wars 2 for actually coming up with a very clever idea back in the day of those sort of like foresty underground zones and then descending into a heart of a, you know, in that case, a heart of a jungle. And you could see like the jungle shifting below your feet and like great trees and the roots of those and things like that. So, and like I said, and the airships caught and tangled within the almost living forest and things like that. So yeah, there we go. There's, if anyone's wondering where the War Within draws inspiration from, it's specifically those 2 expansions of Guild Wars 2 and Outlander, Morrowind.
In fairness, we did also use that in Legion with the Nightborn.
Yes. Oh yeah, true.
It is a very snappy term.
Anyway, we're here at Baelgrim.
Also, I do think that Syl and I are a quest ahead of you now.
Right, so back at it here with Baelgrim, turning it in. And like I said, we'll just note on a lot of the Earthen's text, but like, and we like how the Earthen, I'd say I like how the Earthen are written. So, but we'll pay more attention to our main characters, because, you know, they're going to be the characters who are going to be remaining with us past this expansion. So anyway, we'll touch on anything of note, but we'll start moving through our quest now. Okay, so they come from below. Let's turn it in. And the coreway is all fucked up now. That is the main takeaway from all of this. The Nerubians attacked both Dornogal, and now it's all fucked up. And Baelgrim ain't happy about it.
Okay, talk to Thrall. Here's your token interaction, Thrall.
Anduin's like, destruction, chaos surrounding me, darkness closing in.
I gotta say, the lighting in this cinematic does not do any of their models favors.
I'm gonna say this. When you engage with the cutscene here, as someone who does art as like a little fun size hobby, the reason why Thrall looks so good is because of the shading around his eyes is a bit better than other characters. It creates.
I was gonna say, it looks like they gave him eyeliner.
Yeah, ironically enough, that actually does help you carry. Oh, Anduin's, at least they gave Anduin eyelashes, but they do look a little bit manky.
Yeah, Anduin and Jaina look rough in this. Illyria looks great, but
it's because of the eye makeup. Again, Anduin and Jaina look very unwell and a bit sickly and a bit... And then Anduin is supposed to look rough.
I think Jaina's is a bit more than that. Jaina has a new face shape. And Jaina has baby face now, and very plump lips and like rounded nose, where she used to be this very gaunt, very sunken-eyed, thin-lipped. She was tired white lady, and she was very angular, and it looked really nice. And I think the new model is a downgrade in pretty much every way other than texture quality.
Yes. And like I said, Anduin looks okay sometimes because he does have shadowing, but he needs a different color.
Anduin looks like they clearly made his model for Hallerfall. He looks massively better in the Hallerfall cutscenes. The lighting here did him no favors.
Oh yeah. It's too bright on the faces that are already, they don't have much color differentiation in those things, so you need to create color blossoms on their faces. It's why Alexstrasza looks so good in Dragonfly. And I know she's got crazy eye makeup, much like Ilaria. But for men, it's just a simple, like, if you don't want them to...
At least Illyria's is, like, explicitly makeup and not just this totally natural looking...
dragon, yeah, just looking fab as per usual. But the thing is that, yeah, that different coloration around Anduin and Jaina's eyes would help a lot. Also, Anduin says the same thing over here, destruction following me. Again, very good that all these characters have interactable lines here too, by the way. Like, Magni has something to say and Moira has something to say. And we'll pick up Belgrim's quest.
When this first, like, cutscene, achievement progress thing really makes you realize how short these are, because we've taken quite a while, but this ultimately only really was, like, 8 quests.
Yeah, exactly. It moves very quickly.
And we're a third through the zone.
And just noting too, this is one complaint again about Anduin's character. Like just very mildly before we get to Hallerfall. Again, Anduin's character is very blasé about everything he's been through. Like this. Like Ilaria tells him no and treats him a bit like a child. Like, you sit here, you stay there, you don't do anything, you just help these people. And Anduin goes, okay. It's no sort of...
Well, I will say that does pay off later. That is not casual dialogue. That is intentional payoff.
Okay, good. That makes me happy. I would like to see Anduin just a little bit more standoffish, though, about people. Again...
Have a bit more bite, yeah.
Yeah, because we just had him being controlled by other people, and in comes Ilaria, who starts telling him what to do. Like, this man is just being told what to do, and he's just like, okay. And taking a very passive role again in regards to the story. Like I said, this may change in Hallerfall, but at least this initial part is very, very set in a sense of like, yeah, he's just here along for the ride, and people are telling him what to do, despite him being told what to do for all those other parts of like Shadowlands, being controlled. Okay, so we're here with the machine speaker, who is Miss Brinth over here. I love her voice, may I just say.
Voiced by the lovely Deborah Wilson.
Oh, yes! Okay, yeah, she sounds amazing. Belgrim here is like, you got a memory gem. Let's see how Earthen used the memory gems. And also Merrick's here, who is the mayor of the city. Let's be honest.
Imagine being physically created and your job is clerical worker.
Assigned pencil pusher at birth. Okay. Okay, and Brinth also explains to us here about like, Earthen are basically made, and they get a little memory gem and stuff like that, and they need repairs now and then. So they're very much machine peoples, essentially. And ironically enough, very much like Dawntrail, talking about the lastability of memories and like the shape of form.
Which I will also note, these are the crystal gems. We have very much entered Steven Universe territory.
Also, a real positive in regards to this too. Moira and Dalaran, I do like how they interact with these people. Both Moira is on display as an actual good leader. She's very diplomatic. She's very intelligent in how she interacts. Doesn't give too much information away, but she's willing to be honest with people. Dalaran is very much a little sweetheart here. He's very much a good child character, as in he's eager to learn. He bounces back. He's the character that I'd expect bouncing back from Dalaran. It's like, well, that certainly happened.
I will say, one of my worries after the short story with Moira was that Dalaran would be written as like the perfect child, and how, because in the short story, the intent was very much supposed to be on display that he has the insight to get the right answers. He has the insight to look past the pettiness and the squabbles and the bad blood and find the truth of things. And I was worried that they might push that too far and make it so that he never really displays flaws. But in that short story, you could hear some kind of hints of potential flaws of where he was very overeager to basically call them idiots. And they brandished their swords, and he didn't seem to be that concerned about that. And he was lucky that he was in a hall full of dwarves and he was their king. But as we see here, he's very impulsive. He is very reckless with stating his thought without really regarding the history behind things in some ways, regarding the potential meaning behind things in some ways, which in the case of the short story works to his benefit. But as we're seeing here in this conversation here, he could have potentially pushed a button there with those Earthen. And Moira pulled him back from that by being a bit more tempered with knowing and to say the right thing at the right time.
He's a little bit of a know-it-all, just like a little bit.
Yes, which is good because that's a very good thing to show for a nerdy 16-year-old. Like, when you're a nerdy 16-year-old, you are kind of an asshole when you want to let people know how much you know.
Yeah, it's very endearing.
Again, World of Warcraft, whether intentionally or I think in this case it is intentional. They write young teens quite well. Like, we've talked about this with Pandaria, with Rathian and Anduin. They capture their teenagehood very, very well. Like, with a teenager with power makes bad decisions. A teenager who's naive to the world dashes into things, you know? And also, I will give that short story this. It is written from the perspective of a mother. So in Moira's eyes, Dalaran is a perfect little boy who has never done anything. As much as Moira is like, I'm trying to be realistic here, she loves this little lad with all of her heart, and she will overlook all of his flaws.
It is good that they show how it's one of those good things that they use the analogy in the story of he has his heart on his sleeve. He has all of his insecurities showing. He's willing to ask those questions, ask those hard things, and she worries for him of where that might lead him. In the same vein of her being so proud that he's able to do that because of her. And it'll be interesting seeing how he grapples with that. And I'm confident that given they lean so hard into his nerdhood, that they're not going to go the whole Anduin route with him in the future. They will stick to his more softness and his soft nature.
Yes, that makes me happy. Like I said, that's good. And like we said too, like, again, that short story is I'm usually not very moved by WoW's family sort of stuff. I'm usually a bit like, you know, the atypical stuff. Every other story is a family story. That one really struck home for me. I actually feel like that was very rawly written by an actual parent themselves, but with insight in regards to children and stuff. And the author is a parent to a child, and you can definitely see that real, like, thoughtfulness, not just a lived experience, but also a critical thought in regards to her own sort of like feelings as a parent, which is, it's all well and good to write from my experience, but the real level of elevating your writing is writing from experience, but also going through and being aware, essentially, of what you're writing and what your perspective is. That sort of elevates writing there. I think Ursula Le Guin used this quote, didn't she? So you can be a person who can type, or you can be a person who can write. And I think that's the difference in between there. So anyway, the gang is all moving here. The Dalaran is like staring longingly at like grabbing all them gems.
I will say it's also nice that here they very clearly note, okay, Dalaran is not joining us for this zone because Moira leaves him here to keep him safe.
Yes, which is good. Like I said, that makes sense. He's a teenager, and in this case, Moira knows he's safer in this location. It's good. It all makes sense. I don't feel like, why are they doing that? It makes perfect sense. Of course they're taking that action. And again, the writers for this are very much treating the wrong man. Not that I've gone to the wrong man too. The writers are very much treating their characters with general respect. And I think I've said this before, treat your characters with respect and it'll pay off in the long run, you know? So...
Oh, hey, if you come over here to the engineering trainer, the 2 Mechanome auctioneers survived and they're sitting in here.
Yes! Mechanomes live to fight another day. Also, the really ominous green gem out past where we are at the moment. I've been hoping for Serenite references, like in a very, very subtle way.
We're getting that in in The Last Titan, at least.
Yes, we know Serenite is going to be making a comeback.
I would like to show you guys something, both of you.
Also, I think it'd be a little bit warm in this room. We're not stepping on the killing machine, Paul. You're like, what? No, this is a killing machine. All the skeletons.
No, it's not a killing machine.
You're like, go on, step in.
Oh, we're downstairs.
Oh, thanks. Sorry. I was like, where are you guys?
Come in here, Sel. Come look at the fucking pile of corpses. Notably, I almost got Sil to walk on this on beta, so I have no room to talk. I'm a fuckhead. I will try and get someone to do chaotic things here.
Oh, you know what?
There you
I'll
are.
do it for the stream. Oh, hey, I got an achievement.
Oh, the blood! There's blood.
No, there's no corpse. We are just a bloody pile now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we all got our flat earth props. Those are silly achievements. I love those. That's really good.
The description is even funnier.
Flat earth. Let me have a look. See. Become the victim of a workplace accident.
Hey.
Everyone's getting on there now. Oh, that guy died. That hunter just died. Come on, we're all getting on there. Come on, mage. Don't be a pussy. Get in there. Come on. Don't you want to be squished, dude?
Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Yeah, there it goes. Cheer. Yeah, go for it, my dude. Yeah, there we go. The blood, though. The extra blood splatter is what makes it. Holy shit. Anyway, I'm going to go pick up the mining here. All right, and then we've got our little gang down here. So many injured. Anduin, they've been vaporized. Okay, Anduin first.
Magni, how are you feeling?
How I look, to be honest. The shine has worn off of me. And of this speaker nonsense.
Nonsense? I thought being the speaker was...
an honor. Aye, until it wasn't. A song everywhere. Nary a peep for me. And now, dragged to the ends of the earth. And my family, too.
I can't offer you any comfort. I admit that I...
You're in the same boat, aren't you, lad? But the light seems a fairer master. I doubt it has left you truly, Anduin.
I could say the same of you and Azeroth. I don't think it's you. I think there is much we don't know.
That may be. But if I were you, I'd enjoy my break from being a king and savior of the world. Figure yourself out. Rest.
My relationship with the light is not like yours to Azeroth. But I can see what you mean.
Overall, really like that conversation. But the break from being king worries me.
I'm still going to hold out on this. They do intend for Anduin to return as king, and I think it's a bad narrative choice, and I'll hold that.
Most likely, but there is something interesting in Halifal that might slightly change your mind.
Okay, we'll see it. And with that, with the idea of Anduin being king too, by the way, it is one of those things. Like I said, I feel like the WoW devs may be in conflict. We'll see what the Halo 4 thing is. I still think the WoW devs hope that people want Anduin to be king because they know it's going to be tough writing him not being king. But ironically enough, I think from a narrative perspective, they could do a lot more with him, essentially. Like, removing him from that role, I think he'd become a happier character overall.
Yeah.
Both at like a personal level, but also in a sense of like happier in regards to what you could use him in the narrative, and also he could create a lot of narrative in a sense good narrative tangles, as in like people would still have hold-ups about him, and that would create interesting dynamics between Anduin in a new role away from king.
Okay. And now there's a Magni one.
Magni one, let's fucking go.
These Earthen, they're a funny lot. Odd traditions, superstitions.
What do you mean?
Oh, you know, titans, edicts, Thragar.
Some of them have been calling me Arathi, like the ancient human empire. I wonder how they know of it.
Aye, I heard that too. I don't know what to make of it. The Earthen are also an ancient people. They might be just remembering ghosts.
But it seems like the Arathi were here, recently. Why would the Earthen have an inn with proper food and beds if they don't need them?
Do you think the Arathi are here, somewhere in Algar?
I don't see how. But it bears investigating.
They are improving a lot on the animations on the character models in these Awhiles. And like having them do individual hand and face and head animations.
Yeah, I really love
that one's much improved. Yeah. On the flip side, that stay a while and listen. I know where they're coming from, but a little bit confusing when Magni says superstitions like Titans. Like,
yeah,
we've seen them. They're real. They're not superstitions. I think I'd be a very religious person in this world when my gods would come down and start blasting
he means
my
like
ass.
their idea of the Titans, because Magni. I think it's smart to show that Magni and the dwarves don't actually know what the edicts are, and they don't actually know how direct a connection to the Keepers and to the Titans that the Earthen have. Because despite what a lot of people might forget, the Earthen are a very recent discovery. Like, we didn't know about them at all until vanilla. I think it's just weird wording.
Yeah, I feel like it's like it would have been better to have that sort of distinction from what Magni knows as dwarf culture. It should have been like they feel so familiar, but they feel incredibly different.
It's one of those interesting mysteries of how they basically said that these Earthen developed what is basically just dwarven culture entirely on their own, and we don't know why.
Yeah, exactly.
But like the thing is, that's not just a plot contrivance. Usually I just point that out as like, oh, okay, they want to make us think about the dwarves, so they made a culture like the dwarves, which would be fine. But they specifically note in one of the books in Ulamon that the fact that they developed an Earthen culture is an irregularity that the Keepers don't know why that happened.
Yeah. Well, it's the base living creature instinct to eat haggis, I guess. Okay, but
I do like how they're like
Yeah.
setting up the little seeds, like, oh,
Yes.
the mentions of the Arathi, the mentions of Anduin having these curiosities and wanting to delve deeper.
Yes. Like I said, no complaints there whatsoever. Again, Anduin is, very blasé. He's just acting like regular ass Anduin, is all I gotta say. He doesn't act like someone who's, like, traumatized
it's the
or
issue
struggling.
where the last time we saw Anduin before all the domination stuff was BFA, when he was also still just sad boy, self-doubting himself and struggling with all of his morals.
It's not much has changed. Not much has changed. I feel like it would have been somewhat slightly improved story-wise, and I know this is a bit, like I said, I don't know how this pays off between Ilaria and Anduin just yet, but I feel like it would have been much improved in the first time that Ilaria sort of like challenged Anduin and said, you don't do anything, you listen to what I say and you do what I tell you to do. Anduin flips his lid and just walks off.
Yeah.
And
The
we
funny thing
find
is,
him
I
later
actually
in
don't know
Hell.
either, because the cutscene and the Stay a While were both encrypted on the beta, so I don't know how their stuff ultimately ends in Nashkahet.
Oh, okay, interesting. We have to wait till Tuesday and find out. Like I said, we'll have to do like another.
Well, no, that's part of leveling.
Oh, it's part of leveling.
We don't have to wait for max level for that.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, that's interesting.
I do think that there's kind of a missed opportunity here for Anduin to kind of talk about how maybe he feels abandoned by the light. Like Magni kind of says, well, the light sounds like a fairer mistress, and then Anduin doesn't really elaborate on that. He's just like,
that's one of the things where I think in order to get that, we need to more directly see Anduin attempt to call on it and fail, and have him attribute that to the light not answering him and not his own self-doubts, because ultimately we know it has nothing to do with the light. The light is fine. It's all Anduin.
It's all Anduin. The problem rests with him.
Which,
exactly.
There's kind of a moment like that in Halifal, but I won't spoil what happens there.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, I'm going to ask very nebulously to your Port, is the idea of faith, is it more religious in regards to Halifal, or is the light just still very non-denominational, just air quotes, the light?
It is more religious because the Arathi have a more explicit concept with the Sacred Flame, so...
Okay, cool. Okay,
that makes me happier. And there is some very good stuff with Farron, but it relates interestingly, I will say, to Anduin's version of faith.
Okay. Let's get going to there then. Okay, let's dash up and we'll talk to our last few guys. Need to.
Oh yeah, I need to still talk to Bran and the auditor.
Yeah.
The auditor is where we're going.
Yeah.
The last area, anyways.
The last area. Okay.
Look, he sure set up fast with these pelts.
Sam and I said the exact same thing when we reached Dornogal and her alls. You're like, oh, he wasted no time to make himself at home here.
I think you got the wrong dwarf hunter who's really good at big beast hunting, because you're way better than Nessing, right?
Yeah, I mean, Bran's like, we got skins, we got a giant tankard of mead, we got. How did they get this? Where is this from? Like,
this guy sure is very happy.
Yeah, like everyone's made themselves very comfortable here in Dornogal. So, okay. Well, we'll just take it as is. It is very funny that they never had a setup scene for all of this. It's just, everyone's comfy
I
now.
don't know if you guys saw it, actually. You come this way.
Oh.
Before we go to the final area. I don't know if you guys have explored the city a ton.
A little bit, but
A little bit.
Speaking of people who set up fast.
Oh, this is, yes! I've seen this where the rogues are. They just fucking went for it. Hey, Valera.
Bob.
It's like Millhouse, Matterstorm, Bob. Everyone's fucking here. Let me just say.
Oh my god.
My goodness.
Bob looks so sad.
Okay. Lord Ravenhold.
Oh,
Well, they did lose. These are all the shadows of the Uncrowned, plus Millhouse and a dog.
And a dog. It's like free dog. Oh my god. Yeah, like,
plus Millhouse and minus clothes.
again, at me at the door, are we a fucking joke to you? Is the Uncrowned a fucking joke right now? I appreciate them actually putting them here, but again.
Okay,
yeah.
hello, Valera.
Yeah. There we go. Holy shit, though.
Is
But yeah,
Millhouse
okay.
not wearing any
Jump very
clothes
quickly.
for you guys?
He is
Yeah.
not. This is
Yeah.
the canonization of strip Hearthstone.
Just question marks. How do you play? You need to wear 30 pieces of clothing, and each one of those health points that come off, wham, gone. Pull booty ass out in Dornogal. Dicks out for Dornogal. Okay,
Wow.
let's go.
Good find, Porter. Thanks for showing us that.
It's one of those things where I like that they've settled so many of the Dalaran NPCs in here, but I also hope this isn't settling because it's their permanent home and more just settling because they want to show the NPCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I am happy again though. This sort of matches our complaint to earlier when we're like, where are these
Wait, hold on.
characters?
Other direction.
Other
Long
direction.
hallway, other direction. This view is gorgeous.
Yes. Oh yeah. Once again, me with the single thing that I have zero complaints about, like art direction. Again, it's like, yes, okay. Also, we're walking again. Sill's favorite hobby in World of Warcraft.
Yes.
We love walking. You so shut up. Yeah, okay, I like walking. Fine. Also, this random fucking ass. His whole ass back.
I want you to read his buff.
Unbothered
Unbothered
and
and
moisturized, happy, in their lane, focused, flourishing. Oh, good for him. Good for him.
Ironus Cold Steel, he knows what he's
I
all
don't know
about.
if you guys did his side quest in Dragonflight, but Ironus Cold Steel is a dragon named Iron Dormu.
Oh, that's the guy who's outside of the inn in Thaldressus, isn't he?
Yes.
Yes,
it is.
we do know him. Yeah, we did his quest.
And
yeah.
his whole backstory is that he was originally the Bronze Dragon's envoy to the Earthen, and he was the one who helped teach them and help them hone their crafts in blacksmithing. And then when those Earthen moved to Uldaman and eventually became the dwarves, he continued blending in with them and helped them build the Great Forge.
Ah, so ancient aliens, but in this case, ancient dragons.
Yeah.
Well, good for him, honestly. So that is a nice little callback in regards to, like, again, I like to know where NPCs are, and this man is just living his best life. You know what?
I
I
love
cannot.
the outfit he got. It's
I
great.
know.
The fucking beach outfit with the floral hat. Good for him,
Good
honestly.
for
Good for him.
him.
I love how he has his pants off just around all these other dwarfs. But I feel like the Earthen wouldn't mind nudity because they wouldn't have
No,
genitals.
well, no,
wouldn't
they
have
literally
genitals.
do not have an underwear texture.
Yeah. That is what I would underwear, letting it all hang out, letting that, just hang out, we relaxed, much
Let me
like
Find it.
the clothes are not part of the flesh like keepers. Your clothes
I'm
are your
really
flesh.
excited to make an Earthen because I
Yeah.
really love their starting gear. But
Mm.
there's one small caveat that makes me
Yes.
question it is look in between that nice kilt.
This man isn't wearing pants. This man has no pants on. He's pantsless. He's been pantsed.
Because their default starting gear has no pant texture underneath the 3D asset. So
No
they are
pants. They're like I said,
free rocking.
free rocking, just the breezes are there. We're all natural, wearing our birthday suit on the bottom. How many other descriptors could I use here? Many.
They've got their stones on display.
Stones on display. They love showing coal.
Oh.
Okay. Oh my god, Earthen. Like I said, the keepers, the clothes is the flesh, so
Yeah.
These guys, the clothes isn't the flesh. Very important distinction. Tell me about the Council of Dornogal.
I'm glad they have a nice PowerPoint projector just for this.
I know. They've got one of those drop-down ones from the ceiling. Also, I love their big chairs and how little they are.
Yeah. Like, their projections seem like the proper size.
Yeah. We were big ones, but erosion, climate change.
Oh boy, let's get Lorthamar in here to teach us about erosion.
Okay. Elric couldn't be evil, could he? Oh my gosh.
He only has the menacing evil red chair.
Yeah, the menacing evil red chair. Red means scary, Okay, hey Merrick's. Okay, so Merrick's is giving on us our sort of like concluding quest here. Okay, and also, by the way, compared to Dragonflight, which was the Oath Stones, and let me just say this, I do feel like Dragonflight's main story was a little bit meandering.
Yeah.
This is a nice, clear objective with a pressure to get it done fast. Yeah. That's the other important thing.
The Oath Stones felt like something written in because they needed a reason for continuation between the zones and an end goal, rather than writing the story with the end goal in mind. Of like, here, the end goal is very clear. Okay, we started off, Nerubians destroyed a city. We are trying to stop the Nerubians from destroying more and figure out why they're trying to do this.
Yes, exactly. And like in the meantime, find Xalatath the best we can, and also aid these people who are very clear that if we aid these guys, they'll be useful allies in
because
stopping
rebuilding the Coreway will let us try and access whatever is below.
Yeah, very, very clear goal. We need to get it done fast. And like I said, with Dragonflight, again, it felt like they were nervous to use their own characters. They didn't trust their own characters to tell the story. I will always put my foot down on that. They had no faith in the characters to tell a story of dragons rediscovering their homeland. Less so with Caligos. I think Caligos was very much the darling child of
It's still so funny. If you told me before Dragonflight he would come out of the expansion best.
We would have been like,
all the characters.
What? The expansion that was supposed to, sort of focus on Rathian ended up causing quite a great deal of damage to said character, and just caused every single weakness of the writers to be on show. It was chaos, just terrible, just an unpleasant time. And then on the flip side, we got Caligos, who had a good story, a good, clear opening and distinction are coming into his own as the blue dragonfly aspect, and it was resolved.
Lots
so,
of fan
big
service too. Not to get too off topic, but there was like a quest where where you like go to meet Caligos at the tavern and he's like drinking. I was like, oh my god, there's gonna be like a moment where Cal gets like drunk and someone's gonna punch him or he's gonna punch someone, and I'm gonna sound so stupid because I've been complaining about this happening to Rathian, and no, Caligos doesn't get punched. He gets like a hug, and you have like a nice drunk like heart to heart with him like in the tavern. And I was like, oh yeah, of course he gets a hug.
Exactly.
He's a happy drunk.
We're still, like I said, the treatment of Rathian was clear. I'm not going on about it. About it, but we got
Earthen.
We know that the devs
rock people now.
Rock people.
The rock people now. Okay, so this is all about Adelgonn. She is fucked off from the main chair 20 minutes down the road to help.
A very nice color palette.
I know she is. That beautiful bronze color with the green, like that. Very Freya-esque.
Yeah, which fits because she is part of the Freysworn.
I'm Moira, of the Dark Iron and Bronze Beard.
Baelgrim.
Stone Ward?
I am not the Stone Ward. You know that.
I know. You abandoned your post.
And you abandoned us.
The Coreway was attacked. It must be repaired.
We were attacked too. You should have protected...
I can see there is some history between you. But if you haven't noticed, the Nerubians have you both in their sights. You need each other, age-old drama or not.
Okay, now, Adelgonn just wants us to do a simple idea of, like, we want to do the delve, right? And this is our introduction to delve. Gotta say, love the idea of delves. I know some people are kind of mixed on them, but I fucking love it, because I'm a scenario enjoyer. Yeah, exactly.
I always love scenarios, and they're a really good way to insert small bits of story.
Yeah, exactly. It's small story.
We should probably let Still be the one to cue to show off the seamless part.
Yeah, oh yeah. Woof! Someone flew by on the dragon and nearly took the top of me head off. Still, come over here.
Sorry, I'm putting the Storm Rider on my bars.
Yeah, we're all on our little.
So we're all matching.
Can I just say, it forever annoys me that this mount from the gnome zone is not built for gnomes.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
You have to stand. That's so awkward. Poor gnomes. Like I said, they should have like a little comfier seat, or at least one of those like city stand seats or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, still talk to Bran.
All right.
Sign us up. Let's get going.
Oh no, there's no sign up.
Just talk to Bran. Sorry. Okay. It's still got to be the first one through the Dark Souls fog wall. Okay. Oh, okay. Do we just join in? Oh, enter. There we go. Perfect.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yay!
Oh, are we? Mine didn't. Oh, there we go.
Yeah!
Okay. Yay! We all made it.
Like, go, Sil, go! And you're like, I'm in. Okay, no, we're here too. But yes, like these as well. And again, we're also pulling this experience and ideas from. In a way, I'm gonna do the shout out to Guild Wars 2 again. Not so much with delve in a sense of delves, but the idea of seamless transition into mini dungeons.
Well, in fairness, I think that tech was actually originally made for WoW in particular, with the Zarelot Caverns, and they just used it here.
Ah, yes,
that was very much made because they were trying to figure out the tech for this expansion in terms of underground stuff.
Oh, yes.
And trying to stack zones on top of each other.
Yes.
And it's a very clever piece of tech. The zones are not actually stacked on top of each other. They are actually separate instances.
Yes.
They just transport you without a loading screen.
Yes. Like I said, it takes a lot of hardware to do such a heavy lift there as well. So respect to that. Anyway, but yes, as soon as I saw the green gemstone in Dornogal, I was very much like looking at the camera like, old gods? I mean, we all know that the old gods aren't dead, like as much as everyone.
I'm going to give you one very isolated, out of context spoiler for Ashgahat.
Oh, yeah.
You guys will love the Flesh Pit.
Oh, the Flesh Pit. Oh, okay. I'm already loving that name. Yes. Oh, my God. Gahoon time. Me looking at the camera, Gahoon.
Oh, I love Gahoon.
We Gahooning here.
Oh,
we love Gahoon. We appreciate Gahoon in this house.
Yep, Gahoon lovers.
Gahoon lovers have gone through. God, what was I going to say too with the old god idea that I was just like following there? And now this may be a massive spoiler. It may be something that isn't even touched on yet. Is there something going on with that big old fucking egg in Ankajet, by the way? Are they rebirthing an old god from it?
There is no egg, sorry to say.
Oh, there's no egg? Is it a big nightlight for him on top of like one of the buildings? Is it a room?
That is the palace itself.
Oh, is it? Right.
Yeah,
okay.
That is the royal chambers.
Oh, damn it, because I was like, oh, this seems, if that's an egg, like, could they be resurrecting an old god through it? That'd be kind of cool, you know. That's just my personal...
There are very different things they're doing with old god stuff.
Oh, okay, as long as there's old gods, I'll be happy, so there we go. Me, the thing is that I always like him just sticking to the two classics of Titans and old gods. Always interesting. First one.
This mechanic is very funny because when there's no enemies, Bran is just throwing hammers at you.
Yeah, I noticed that. Also, when he gets on his griffin and gets really hyped up, he hypes himself up and there's nothing there. It's just like, okay, dude, you do that. Go on, man, you got this. You got this.
He's
cool.
trying his best.
He's trying his best. We shouldn't be hating on him. And right back to the beginning. There we go. I said, I really liked elves. I'm going to really look forward to doing all of them, and especially to higher levels too. So that'll be a lot of fun. There we go. So our delve is done. And do we have to talk to anyone here? No, we've done all that. So we're talking about Beogrim not caring about shore erosion again. I'm teasing. Basically telling Beogrim that he needs to care for all the people on the Isle, even people who've forsworn their edicts and things like that. Obviously, the Earthen are getting their own minds about things. They're like learning about stuff, and the more that they're away from their machines, the more air quotes corrupted, mayhaps one might even say, they are from the original edicts and the Titans' plans for them.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those interesting things that when we go into side stories, we will learn their relationship to the Keepers is very different from the Earthen we know in Northrend.
Ooh, oh, okay, interesting. Also, another thing of note, am enjoying that they've still kept dragon riding races on the Isles too. Yeah, that makes me very, very happy.
It is very funny that it is still bronze dragons, though.
They've just been everywhere. Like, this is the trouble with every sort of time traveling entity. It's like, well, don't they just know the future? Why can't they just tell us? And
that's one of my big critiques of their story in Dragonflight is prior to Dragonflight, they had a very good excuse for why they didn't do that, because they existed to preserve the main timeline.
Yeah,
and telling us about that, changing things would fuck that up. It would cause things that aren't supposed to happen. And so that was the interesting thing about them, is that they had these immense powers, but they only had the edicts to use them for a specific reason.
Yeah.
And I think the addition of, oh, actually, no, we can change time if we're compassionate about it, was a little weird.
Again, it's the far too much trust in who is good. It's the Anduin issue. Like, you can't just say someone is irrevocably good, because that can change. Like, people change, and what is good and evil? Like, you can be like, well, good is when you do good, and evil is when you do evil. It's like, and we've proven that in World of Warcraft, it doesn't really hold up under scrutiny whatsoever. So, again, it just always, like, it's a good thing to keep in mind for the devs, is just consider those things, and, like, consider how you're writing Anduin is just like, he would never dob in the uncrowned. He could, though. He could. something could happen that he's like, actually, fuck anyone challenging my authority. I'm gonna just kill
remember
these guys.
how he was literally being influenced by a dreadlord during Legion?
Exactly, like people need to keep secrets sometimes, and that's okay. Keeping secrets is fine. Having interest other than, you know, just a set interest is fine too. But please don't be telling the King of Stormwind everything, you know, like, my goodness gracious. Munitone, oh my goodness gracious. Oh, okay. Just something to consider. Just something to consider.
Oh, this was a quest line that I wanted to call attention to because I loved it. So Adelgonn begins crushing the Fungarian flesh roughly in her stone hands. It becomes a masticated pulp disturbingly quickly. I just really like that. I think that's clever.
That's good.
How powerful the Earthen is with her powerful rocky hands. God, I wish that were me. I wish I was a masticated. I wish I was a masticating mushroom.
One thing that I think they did a good job of in general with the Earthen is making them seem alien without like alienating, which I think was like a big problem with Shadowlands, is that you had like all these fantastical like characters and settings.
It's a lot more human when it is people religiously following their instructions.
Yes.
And they are stone people, but ultimately they are just people with unique personalities and not these massive cosmic concepts.
Agreed.
That like is the thing where a lot of the humanization in Shadowlands felt wrong because the concepts we were dealing with shouldn't feel human. The characters should be unnerved by the inhuman nature of it. Like the fact that the Kyrian just toss things into the maw, even though they know what's happening, because that's their duty and they don't have to do anything else. Characters should have been horrified by that. Characters should have been horrified by all the rules we learn about like how they deal with necromancers, about how they willingly let people die. How they wield this power and they choose to do nothing with it. We should have seen people horrified by that, but we don't. We all just kind of accepted it as normal. And then we go to places like Revendreth, and it's a
just
gothic
another
city.
day.
It's just a place. Like
it's
a very cool zone, but it's not really a good fit for the Shadowlands.
Felt like every single Shadowlands NPC should have been like, it's a living, you know, because it's so fucking ridiculous what they were doing, and especially in the concept of WoW's world building. It was, again, these are one of these things that I'm like, I could just go off on, like.
It's weird how the characters are remarking more about the weirdness of Khazalgar than they were about the Shadowlands.
Shadowlands, yeah, exactly though. So anyway, again, still loving everything, and we got the little cutscene of all the flying spiders zooming overhead too. By the way, talking to Adelgonn.
I did not have that yet.
They're like, oh, flying spiders. We know what this means.
I must say,
strong
Adelgonn,
breezes.
My beard is better.
Wow! Did Adelgonn deserve that? She's just minding her own business. She's just living a life here. Now we have to go to the Proscenium with Mora. Let's go. And again, this is, if you do all the quests around this zone, it actually takes a little bit. It really builds up this little village stuff, and we really learn a lot too, like how the Earthen sort of live their own lives and stuff like that. Very good. Also, a funny bit in this quest, by the way, don't know whether you... this is when I say humor is good in a quest, right? Just that silly little bit with Baelgrim on the goat. They're like, let's go. And he's like, oh, dear God, not a fucking goat.
It's one that fits his character, and it's not something that is dragging itself out.
Exactly. It doesn't distract. It's funny in the moment. It's like, we got to get moving. He's like, oh, dear God. Okay, let me go on this goat then. And it doesn't distract from the moment, adds to the character. Like, he does feel a little bit, this very grumpy Earthen. He does have a very a human side, a mortal side to him, you know.
I do love when we get here that the music changes to actually fit the story, because the actual music of this zone is very unfitting for the story context.
Oh, very, very, like, and this gets a little bit more serious up in here.
Well, also as we use bee wax to blow up holes.
Yeah, bee wax. Now, like I said, the Earthens, now this is something I was considering, and I've talked to Sil about this. The Earthens alcohol, they obviously drink mead. Is this mead 97% alcohol? Would this kill a man having one sip of this drink?
Yes.
Because it ignites. We are literally Molotov cocktailing the Nerubians. We are putting a little handkerchief in our bottles and using this Earthen's air quotes alcohol, which clearly must be above 60% alcohol, to set them alight. Explode them. This shit is 97% alcohol, and I love it. These guys would need the strongest shit to actually taste ever. And you know what? If I was a rock, I'd probably have 97% alcohol mead. So there we go. They know what they're doing here. Also, we walk around the center here. We have some characters that we recognize. Illyria's here.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look, the Silver Covenant's defending the Sun Reavers. All is right with the world.
All is right with all is forgotten. For what happened? What? Okay, so we know where Illyria's up to. She's dashing after all the Nerubians. This makes sense. Like I said, that's good at the quest writers. We know where these characters are, and the urgency still feels like it's there. That's all good.
I will say though,
yeah.
The fact that Illyria's story doesn't truly pick up until halfway through is interesting with how short the zones are, because
yes, yeah, that is, yeah.
Like, you guys haven't actually seen any of Illyria's story yet.
You know, we've just seen it pop up now and then, you know, so it's like, okay.
I love Anduin's little cheer animation.
Yeah, it's cute.
I just love fucking cheer animation. He's so pumped up. He's just happy to be here, you know? Like, he's just living his best life. Like I said, again, still, it does feel a little bit... I think that is our main critique here. We don't actually start seeing any story. And again, Anduin's just a regular-ass guy. He isn't showing any sort of, like... His interact lines are more emotive than his story so far. That really says something, yeah. And Anduin's voice actor is certainly delivering the lines different, but like I said, he is still just a guy. He doesn't seem particularly
He got the
bothered by
BFA
anything.
Jaina treatment, where it's the same voice, just significantly more tired.
Yeah, just more tired, and I'm a bit more breathy, and I'm a little bit more like quieter. Whew. And does it change, by the way, after Hallowfall? By the way, his voice lines?
Well, he doesn't have a lot of voice lines. Actually. He's still struggling with stuff in Ashgahat, I will say.
Oh,
his arc is not finished at the end of Hallowfall, which is a good thing.
Okay, cool. That, you know what? I'm thumbs up in again. Good. I like the stories continuing. It shouldn't be resolved in like 10 fucking seconds. Okay, so we're turning in our quest here to Wembrandt and everyone. Moira's here.
I love the name Rembrandt.
I really like this character too, in a sense of like the Earthen need a media. Like, who are they giving this mead to? I'm just obsessed. I love this idea. Anyway, so Moira's like, okay, so we know where the Nerubians, like the Nerubians keep on attacking. What is going on with them? Obviously, they either want the Earthen to stop or they want the Coreway totally fucking destructed. That's fair.
You can hear the actual music here now, which is gorgeous music.
And we got random ass applause from somewhere too.
Yeah.
And let me just say, the violinists for this soundtrack, and also the flute players, a brilliant job.
That's why, because the play is happening.
Oh.
These people are max level, and they're doing the play.
Play. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting
hell yeah.
This, I won't spoil what it's about, but this play is called The Last Thragar. And the play I really like, because it is their way of introducing more bits of world building about the Earthen from their perspective, and from their cultural perspective of how would they show this story in a play. Yeah. And the way I've jokingly been saying it is, it's the Earthen's Hamilton.
Let's go. You know what? And you know, I'm glad that they didn't get rid of the idea of characters putting on plays and shows, because the positive about this one, no Lady Moonberry.
Oh,
thumbs up
yeah.
I'm thumbs up in. That's a nice change.
And also,
I would
it's
never,
as
I would never
fun
let
as
that
the
be
gimmick
zero.
was with the Nightface stuff. It's fun seeing plays about stuff we don't know because
Yes.
it adds to the mystery of like Blizzard has had a frequent issue with their ideas of biased perspective, but
Yes.
I think this is using it really well because it is biased perspective on story we don't know yet.
Mm.
It's not biased perspective on stories we know and now suddenly biased perspective.
Yes.
All this Earthen stuff is a total mystery to us, so we have to learn it from different points of view and piece together what we think is the truth before eventually
Yes.
getting the full answer.
That's good. I like that. And like I said, and then plus as well from a cultural perspective, that makes sense. And like you said, it's not something we ourselves have experienced, but it's good that we're receiving it from the actual in-games culture's sort of viewpoint. So thumbs up all around there. Also, we're here back with Moira.
All 4 seats are filled.
Oh, we going. Oh yeah, Brinth is there.
Because you can talk to them, and they also have unique dialogue here, and these are actually like important bits of dialogue.
Okay, so Brinth talks about Merrick's, and very glad for Adelgonn's return, which is like I'm the representative for the machine speakers. Tapping the head, we'll need that for next zone. Here's Adelgonn. Oh, Adelgonn chuckles. It's stony but a bright sound, like pebbles tumbling into a stream.
Oh,
okay.
I love that. That's really nice.
That's really nice. Okay, and very much like I said, very Freya based, the green and stuff like that.
Rembrandt is good too because he kind of gives insight into the Unbound.
Ooh. I really hope they don't expect me to go back to my job as a Stormbound. He's like, hate that job. I was designated Stormbound at birth. Oh.
If we offered everyone Cinderbrew, they'd forget what my job used to be. Yeah, probably because that would blow them up. You can't remember if you're dead.
Okay, and there we go. Group effort. The Unbound have arrived with the equipment and resources to begin repairing the causeway. Okay, cool. There we go. So we're all ready to go. This is nice and direct. We're getting straight to the point. Let's go. After Merrick stops talking. Okay, he's like, no small task. Okay, let's all get our booties moving out here. And like I said, once again, we're already two-thirds of the way through, and we're closing in very soon on the end of the chapter. After all this, like I said, I don't know how I feel about. I'm still very in two minds about the shorter story. I can't really say I'm a fan of the shorter campaign.
I would be a bigger fan of it if the story had been moved to the max level campaign, which is not required. Instead, it was moved to the side quests, which I'm sure are very good, but they're not a cohesive main story. They are more world building.
Yes.
Like they are great with the Earthen, from what I've heard. All this stuff with the Earthen are amazing, but the Earthen are not the sole main story thing, and I feel like a lot of that could have gone towards fleshing out Thrall, fleshing out how Jaina's reaction to Dalaran is, fleshing out the reactions to the fall of Dalaran in general.
Yeah.
Fleshing out some of Anduin and Illyria's screen time in these 2 first zones.
Exactly. I think we're all in the same mind about that, is that it's all well and nice to have the Earthen, and like I said, it's good that they're getting a lot of world building, but they're not our main characters though. This has always been the issue with WoW's characters it introduces every expansion. I do hope that characters like Faerun continue with us, by the way. You know, like characters like, Faerun will probably definitely continue with us. But the thing is that I don't think the Earthen so much, like any sort of like main character from the Earthen is going to follow with us as like a main party member, you know. So it's important to build their culture, but don't prioritize them above your main cast. It's important that we have our main cast because they're going to be the ones with us during this. So anyway, like I said, if they want to do like the next this is the thing. When we reach max level, I personally think that they should engage more patches on just pure story patches. Like, this is an end game story patch, and then just like give some like extra unlockable looks and stuff for people who aren't too interested in it, or you know, the kind of like the mini patches, like so big impressive ones to like dangle the keys in front of, but like
I don't think Sam's here yet.
Oh, hold on. I'm coming. One thing I'm gonna note, and I haven't experienced all the dungeons yet, just like these very, very early ones. They're a lot shorter too, by the way.
Yeah, well, they seem very designed for Mythic Plus, which in some ways is a good thing, I think.
Exactly. Like, you know what makes Mythic Plus players happy? I do hope that the obviously the big ass dungeon, the super dungeon,
Mega
or whatever
dungeon,
we call
yeah.
it, mega dungeon.
Well, they didn't seem
longer.
to have many issues with clearly designing it for story instead of Mythic Plus in Dragonflight, which was to Mythic Plus players' detriment. That was
They're like, it's agonizing. Please help.
a bit of a pain.
I do actually understand Mythic Plus's players' sort of like agonies in regards to that. Like, I do understand that it's actually quite a difficult thing to balance, the balance between story and Mythic Plus in regards to dungeons. And like the actual immersion in regards to dungeons too, I feel it's one of the trickier things. Like I said, I wouldn't like to be the guy having to balance that sort of stuff and like making sure it works. But I understand the shorter dungeons, all good. And I suppose delves do make up for like us sort of like more relaxing time. I want to like really get involved with this dungeon. Delves do make that up. So, you know what? No complaints. Like I said, and a fair sort of balance between things here. And like I said, I actually, because they do actually monetize Mythic Plus and make like kind of a song and dance about it, I do understand the priority in regards to making sure that is acceptable for Mythic players.
Also, even though I don't think it's the best choice now that they've introduced this is the only dungeon that's actually in the story.
Oh, this is the only one?
Aww.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. The other 7 are side stories.
Oh, okay. You know what? As long as they're involved in some sort of story, but I would.
It does feel like they are testing the waters. I think with this, they didn't want to overload it. Like, remember how in Endwalker they had the new follow mechanic, and then every zone had a follow mechanic that was agonizing.
You know what? Fair, very, very fair. Wanting to test that first. Yeah, like I said, new grounds essentially here. Notably, this dungeon does work very well as like a solo person playing it. I'll give them that. You can finish it quite quickly. Though I'm not speaking from. It was a bit trickier as just a pure healer, though, wasn't it? So.
It just took me a little longer because my DPS is like not as powerful as yours. So.
There we go.
But it was fine. It was doable.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, it was interesting that Baelgrim is a tank shaman.
A tank shaman?
Oh, kind of a throwback.
I was raising an eyebrow.
They also said, after the reactions to some of the mediocre shaman changes, is that they will have much more extensive changes later in the War Within.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to like, I suppose though, if they, I mean, Druid has 4 specs. If they do want to make shaman tank, I'm opening my eyes wide and go Warlock.
To make Thrall relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Warlock tank might be fun, you know, something that people have asked for a very long time.
Well, Thrall doesn't really fit the elemental mold anymore, or the enhancement mold anymore. But making a shaman tank spec based around Earth stuff, that would fit Thrall really well.
That would fit Thrall really well. Much to consider there. I actually really like that idea. I think that's really cool, and it also like reinforces his idea as a leader being a tank as well, you know? Even though tanks are usually bottoms. Anyway, drops down the hole. I'm going into the hole, guys. Hold your
Agra's pretty assertive.
Us all waggling our eyebrows here. Okay. Radiating Void Stones. Yeah, time is up.
The other interesting thing is that in the beta, not on live, she got changed to a shaman. But in the beta, one of the DPS was an Earthen Druid.
Yes, I saw you talking about that too. So, yeah, they're definitely considering that as well.
And if you do a lot of the side quests, they just flat out have Earthen. They have a whole sect of Freysworn.
Yeah, who would definitely be druids. Let's be fair.
It's so odd how they aren't one of their base classes.
Now I can understand that they probably want to, but again, I think it's that sort of like, do we have time to like design the whole new? But the thing is, stone bears are already there. They already did that in Legion and shit. So like,
they have stone rams for their travel form.
Exactly. Like just do a quick model swap or add a few extra leaves.
Yeah, they could add it later. They could add it later, like they did with Evoker. They introduced that third spec kind of late into the expansion.
Their story is kind of, I don't want to say complete, but it is well-rounded by the time you recruit them.
Okay.
Okay. We're not in Sagely once again here. But you know what? Like everyone always says, the more sort of like variation with class and spec and race choices, I think people will be happier. I think it's an overall...
So many beams coming from my stuff.
So many beams coming from your tentacles over there.
And I'm not even expecting to mind flay.
Your tentacles are still even going on the boss. Let's go. Okay. I'm just gonna tank this to the face. Whatever.
You've been taking like 0 damage this entire time.
This is fucking bouncing off of me. Okay.
Pay attention to your health.
We're just fucking attacking now. Okay, there we go. So can we just leave dungeon now? Leave instance group?
Yeah, well, poor Baelgrim isn't here to tell us that all of the Earthen Storm Riders got wiped out.
Damn. Okay, no one play tank for this.
Very important story context there.
My goodness gracious. So we're just like, I guess that happened then. Yeah, it's all done. Yeah, we're finished. So Baelgrim doesn't...
It's a very important plot beat because without... the whole point was that we were coming here to
do all that. Yes. Oh my god, I've just eaten our plot points. Our plot points, no. Anyway, Baelgrim here, after learning that the Storm Riders have become inactive, after I ate our quest beat here, basically, only with the Peacekeepers, if the Nerubians attack again, Dornogal will get fucked up. His words exactly, by the way. So, but he has a plan, though. Talk about the plan to attack the Nerubians with Baelgrim. Okay, so what is this plan? I love how the Nerubians want the Cinderbrew. Yeah, they're connoisseurs, okay? They like a drinky now and then. You can blame a man. I really feel sorry for goddamn poor old bloody beekeeper man here. When Brent. And this is actually my only complaint that we're coming up to, by the way, in regards to like one of my sort of like complaints with the Earthen story. So okay, let's go to the Meadery. Thank you, Illyria. We're going to the Meadery again. Guess they're coming for some taste testing. It's you know what, like people say this is like kind of unrelatable. Let me tell you, as an Australian, I always have giant spiders attacking our breweries over here. Like this is very common and very relatable. Like there isn't a weekend that I'd go without when I don't see giant spiders harassing our winery. I'm so sorry, that was a terrible joke. Oh, and I can't tell it with a straight face at the moment. Okay. Let's head over to the brewery. Also, again, loving these sorts of surrounds, loving this semi-forested area with the trees with like the glowing growths in them. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Love the details of the brewery here too, by the way. Like, I have this fairy lights over the door of the entrance.
On the wall up here.
Yes, exactly. It's just a really nice touch. It looks really good.
Which I'm very interested in doing that dungeon.
Oh yeah. Like I said, the max level dungeons look very fun. Okay, thank the Titans. Okay, connecting the rope fuses. So basically our plan here is to rig the whole brewery to below. So, rest in peace. Oh, I need to get up my other quest too.
Then let's get started.
do love how Rembrandt is very much a sign of a Earthen who is like no longer under his edict. So he's just a guy. He's just a guy living his life. There we go. Okay, we're shooing off workers.
A lot of explosives.
We're gonna do Dalaran 2.0. We're gonna blow this baby sky high. There we go. We're just yelling at these people. We're not warning them cautiously. We're just screaming at them. For your fucking life, we're gonna set it to blow. It's gonna blow. Okay.
I love how our character doesn't actually say anything. They just scream.
Yeah, just like I said, there's no niceties here. We're just yelling. Telling these people to leave. Okay, there we go. And another worker. 7 out of 8.
I mean, it's very effective. If someone just came up to me and started screaming at me, I'd probably leave too.
Q and Earthen still on like this little like walkie-talkie being like, hey, hello, security. We need this guy removed. He's yelling at the workers right now. I can't believe this. Like I said, I don't mind all this being very straightforward in regards to storytelling. It's going to be exciting to get to the more character-focused stuff for like Hallowfall and stuff. But at the moment, I can understand the hurry in regards to this. It's like, stop the Nerubians as fast as you can.
Yeah, I think it kind of comes at the cost of Baelgrim at times.
Yes, exactly.
And this is what we're about to see is a bit fast.
Yeah. Okay.
I just put all Cinder Honey blobs.
So it slows them down so you can start blasting them. Okay, there we go. And here. My tower defense game is very weak.
Oh.
Okay. So, we have a little game of tower defense now, as we can all see. Oh, you silly billies. Look at all these little spiders running in. I do love how the little spiders... I know, he's trying his hardest here. He's not having a good time today. His meadery exploded. His stocks imploded. God. Luckily, I don't think there's any fail state for this quest, which is hilarious.
No,
because, like I said,
not.
I really fucked up my tower defense sort of game here. Oh.
If anything, you want to go slow so that all the dialogue can happen.
I love how no one has a mage, though, to just send a fireball at the kegs from a distance, though. No, what?
Like you
no
can do in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, exactly, though.
Which, I really do love the characterization of this for Baelgrim. It's very fast, but it's very effective.
It's not as fast as that red Draconid who died after you rescued the egg.
Yes.
Well, thankfully, Baelgrim has significantly more follow-up than her.
He does, yes.
Exactly.
Significantly. Like, a lot more follow-up.
Yeah. I'm going to say
that you have not seen yet.
Oh. And I will say this, though, I do have a complaint with Blizzard does this a lot. They'll introduce a character and the character will die in the first zone as well. And it's a little bit, it's almost like a tradition now, almost. I don't like it, so I think it's rather silly.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate...
This one at least serves a very explicit purpose for the overall Earthen narrative. I will say
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Because, like, the Draconid one in, like, Dragonflight, people are like, oh my god, it was so sad. And I was like, no, it wasn't. It was, that Draconoid was, like, there and then gone. Easy shock value. So, poor old Adelgonn here is like, we dealt a heavy blow to the Nerubians, but poor old Baelgrim is now hot rocks. He's gravel. He's pebbles. He's been fucking exploded. He's now tinder. He's coal. They got to gather his remains for a nice barbecue for later. Okay. There we go. Sad music and sad moment playing. Like I said, I prefer that they don't do this as often, but if there's good continuation in regards to Belgrim's sort of like sacrifice here, I can't whinge about it. You know, it's like fair enough, you know? It's just something to, I think, consider in the long run in regards to that.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Yeah. And I think it always ties into the whole thing of like Blizzard needs to ask themselves, is this deserved? Have we done enough with this character to earn this emotional moment in regards to that? You know? And like even at least Belgrim has had some things here, but it's still all too sudden in my personal opinion. It's just like Belgrim's alive. Belgrim died. It's like, okay. Yes, you can say that again. Merrick's. Not all went well. Okay, return to the callway. Merrick asks about the others. And basically we let him know that, he lets us know that with the Adelgonn's workers, the callway's almost finished repairs, roughly. Not that huge thing that sort of fell through the middle, but close enough. Okay, so the echo of the explosion from here.
We have bad news. Conversation initiated. We have repelled the Nerubians.
Okay. Poor old everyone here is like, ooh. Okay, and we talked to Adelgonn here to tell them, to tell Merrick's what happened at the Meadery. Will these people with dragons get off our questing people?
They really need to add
yeah, that vanishing ability, because this has been terrible for this expansion of people to sit in the whole asses on like quest givers.
Then we will honor his memory by doing so. It will take time to fully repair the coreway, but the Outlanders can descend to the ringing deeps. The Earthen of the Isle of Dorn will support their endeavor, no matter what the edicts say. If we can bring the machine speakers back into the fold as well, then the Council will truly stand complete.
Thank you, Council Lord.
So the edicts are not holding us back from heading into Hull.
Well, no, but one of the council members just died.
It's like, yes, all of the council members. Hello? Okay, so back with Merrick's, he says, with the help of Adelgonn's. Oh yeah, so the quest finish here is let's do it.
The quote-unquote repairs are very nothing.
Sweep, 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 sweep. Yes, the rubble is gone.
The rubble
on the north side.
Of the
On the side is gone. Yes. Okay, response. May we all learn from Belgrim's valor. He died to preserve our people, our unity. We must not let that be in vain. Okay, finish our quest. And we finish off the Isle of Dorn here.
Oh, very quick, but I think definitely effective.
Very quick. Yeah. Now, should we have a look at those side quests for this zone? For the Earthen?
We will find Zealot.
Mayhaps?
I think
or should, yeah.
First, we should do these final two stay-a-whiles, because they are the conclusion of this build.
Oh, yes. I do like how these stay-a-whiles are very clearly noted too. Do you want to do Ilaria's first? Or hear Ilaria's?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so first of all, though, Ilaria says, do not be lured into a sense of false victory. Zalatath yet lives, no wonder, because we haven't attacked her at all, Ilaria. I think we can guess that. So long as she schemes in the shadows, the safety we've secured here is fleeting, just as it was in Dalaran. While Anduin and the Earthen tend to our wounded, how can Anduin tend to the wounded? I will protect them the way I know best. Alleria clenches her fist. By slaughtering all who threaten us. Okay, girl. Okay, stay a while and listen.
Valeria, I heard you helped corner Xerix at the meadery. Thank you.
The Nerubians took so much from us. I will not let them do the same to the Earthen.
They've been good allies. And gracious hosts.
A welcome surprise, given that they've been living in isolation for thousands of years.
That may not entirely be the case. I asked about why they keep calling me Arathi. And apparently, an Arathi armada arrived on Khazalgar a number of years ago. They're said to have formed a settlement in the caverns beneath the island. It sounds impossible. But if it's true, I want to see it for myself. They could prove to be allies in our fight against Xalatath.
No. We've secured a measure of safety here. Don't abandon it to chase shadows in the dark.
Isn't that what you're doing?
I'm doing what I must. Hunting down every last Nerubian. Following their trail back to Xalatath. And claiming vengeance for our dead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to...
Remain in Dornogal, Anduin. Leave the shadows to me.
Yeah, Alleria is very, if everyone's finished the little stay a while there. Alleria is very like, no, you stay here, Anduin. At least Anduin did call her out in one little bit like, isn't that what you're doing though? I like that. Like I said, it sets up some good stuff.
She's on a very Sylvanas-y path now. And...
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. And again, Anduin just seems very like, basically, Anduin still just feels like a dude during all of this. He doesn't seem very... you know when we were talking about emotiveness and how Anduin should generally be reacting? Because this, from that cutscene...
He feels like he's lacking in that cinematic, how he was unwilling to even really talk to Thrall, to even really consider it. He overcame his current base instincts because he logically knew helping was right. But he should be more of what we saw in those initial dialogue bits. If he should be fucking depressed, he should be doubting everything. He should be snarky. He should be snide at the concepts of unity right now. In the same way Illyria is, like the whole we shouldn't let our guard down. These two should be kindred spirits, if anything, because he should not be hopeful right now.
Exactly. Anduin still plays off as the same old Anduin, just a little bit more quiet, you know? Like, oh my god. Is there any so much death and destruction? How about Anduin angry? How about Anduin like acting it out here? Like this is what I mean. We could have avoided all of this and Anduin have an angry outburst, but Illyrio's like, no, you stay here and you just look after the stone dwarfs, which he can't even heal anyway. Notably, wouldn't he be feeling fucking useless? So, why not have Anduin go, well, you don't fucking know me, Alleria. You're not my bloody mother. You're not my sister. Just shut the fuck up. Right. Anduin's exact words. Anduin gets the F-bomb in World of Warcraft. Anyway. But have him just storm off, essentially, and head to Hallowfall, because that's all he has to focus on at the moment. You see, this is where, I mean, like, it would have been good for him joining a cult, especially with him feeling particularly like, I'm sensitive. Don't look at me. Don't touch me. Right at the moment. But instead, he's just regular old Anduin. So, like I said, I'm hoping for some better characterization. But at the moment, this was the time when the iron was hot in regards to allowing Anduin to make mistakes, allowing Anduin to grow from a place of hurt, essentially. But they're not really doing that. You know, they're just going the very midway of, oh, Anduin's just Anduin, just a bit more quieter again, which... like I said, maybe that works better for his next bits in Hallowfall / Ankerjet. But the moment he's just a guy. It's nothing new with him. He's striking.
lacking the aggression we saw in the opening. He's more just on the sad side, and sadly we don't see more of that. But the sad side is explored well later.
Yeah, and I do have to note that not having the uglier sides of said character once again solidifies Anduin as can do no wrong in regards to his character. And I do hope the devs understand what they're doing repeatedly with said character. Like, you can't have a character who's so flawless that spies in a secret group will trust him, you know, like rogues in a secret group will trust him. He's essentially flawless even in his suffering, right? Like, his only sort of like detriments is that he's doubting himself and he's sad at the moment. Okay, but like I said, it still makes him feel very above it all. And I know that like the devs like, well, but it take too long to, like I just said, all it needed was one explosion for Anduin right now and for him to just fuck off to Hallowfall, and he's just been camping out on the edge gazing weirdly at the giant crystal from the ceiling. Like that's all it needed, because he obviously isn't in the next zone, right? So why not lead off with that, and Anduin being like a little weirdo, like engaging in all of these worst habits, gazing at I forget the name of the crystal, but and just being over focused on something and then falling in with the wrong crowd in Hallowfall, like, and then learning to, you know, realize that he has people around him that can help, you know, like that isn't too much of an ask. It isn't too much a deviation when it comes to questioning in regards to that. So
it would have been nice,
anyway,
I think, to have Anduin's PTSD showing a little more, especially in these early bits, as he's like getting used to being social, being around people, kind of like having responsibilities again. Like maybe he just isn't, like, I could see him not being like comfortable
with those things. Exactly. So
we do see some of that in Hallowfall, but it is very again, we're not going to see him again for an entire zone, so that will come later.
We'll get there when we get there. But yeah, that's my complaint. And like, okay, they've certainly focused on Anduin's sadness, and from what I can tell in regards to Hallowfall, but again, it kind of makes him a perfect victim in regards to this. Like compared to, like I said, other characters, not naming names, who supposedly were under like, oh, you know, in that situation, someone would act totally different, you know? But Anduin doesn't get that allowance because he can't be seen as messy and he can't be seen as flawed. So obviously it's always just sadness, which is, like I said, alleviates him from any sort of responsibility of his own actions or, you know, really hard looking at himself. It's just, again, Anduin is sad. Things have happened to him. You know, and it's like, that's fine, but again, if I was a writer, I would have seen this as such an opportunity. It's like the meat is there, the juice is there, the iron is hot. Strike, give this character something. We want the war within. We're not getting wars within these characters except for maybe Illyria. And actually, just noting on Illyria too, this is a total random aside, by the way. One thing that I know that they're probably not going to touch on, but it's such an interesting thing that they revealed in those pre-quests, you know, with Taloga's Rift and all those, before this expansion started. The very clear admittance from Illyria's like subconscious that she cares more about Turalyon than her own son. She loves her husband more than she loves her son, because her ultimate weakness is Turalyon.
Well, I don't know if that's true, because in 1,000 Years of War, it was very clear. She has fears about Turalyon more than she does her own son. She has insecurities about Turalyon more than her own son, because Turalyon is in a position, from her perspective, much more susceptible to turn against her, despite the love she knows there is. Whereas with Eretor, Eretor is her center. It is that Eretor was the one who snapped her out of everything, because no matter what visions from the void she was shown, she knew Eretor was her core. She was never going to kill Eretor. Eretor was never going to kill her. She knew that that was her core, and that was able to help her find her center in the void. So I do think it was more Xal'atath was playing on the accurate insecurities. If she'd played on the insecurities of Eretor, I think Illyria would have been able to see through that. Whereas a relationship with Turalyon is much more in flux still, because they are in very different places.
Yeah, it's a sort of a sense though, like it's a, like I said, I agree with you there, Porter, totally. But I do wish they'd actually play on something a little bit more bizarre. Like I said, we always get family stories from WoW, but we never get a family story, again, this is the issue. Family stories are very cut and dry. Well, you're either a bad parent or you're a good parent, right? Even with what we'll see with Moira and Matt.
That is what I actually like about Illyria, is that it's not really cut and dry, even from the perspective of the characters all know, logically, yes, they had to leave Eretor behind. They were saving the world, they were on another planet. They didn't anticipate being gone for 1,000 years, or 20, or however many from his perspective. But even though they logically know that, and they know that they are not bad people for doing that, they all still feel the guilt. They all still feel the pettiness. Eretor feels like he can't really understand his parents, and he doesn't want to feel like his parents have a hold over him because they gave him up. And in the same way, Illyria feels like she doesn't have a right to truly connect with him because she left him behind. And it's that interesting relationship that isn't necessarily cut and dry and black and white.
So should they play on that more then? Because that's what I kind of want from
I
Hilarious.
think they will in Midnight. It's one of those things where a lot of the stories we have are very much wait till midnight. Midnight will have a lot of the actual questions, because in a lot of ways, the patch stories for the War Within and Midnight are the I don't want to say the actual start of the saga, but the actual start of the writing fully with the saga in mind, and not bits and pieces pulled together into a new narrative that the War Within seems to be. Like the War Within largely seems to be like Illyria's arc there is a start and end to it in the context of what we're seeing, and it's not really intended to continue further in that way. But stuff like the animation we got, stuff like her short story with Eretor, those seem geared more towards the saga as a whole and what will happen in Midnight.
Okay, that's good, because like I said, I prefer that very complex relationship in a family unit than what we usually get from family units in WoW. Like, oh yeah, the parents made some mistakes, but like overall they're a good parent, full stop, and no one ever brings that entirely into question. Like, there's no, once a child in World of Warcraft like reconciles with a parent, there's no lingering animosity in regards to that. I don't think Moira would so easily forgive Magni for everything that's gone on, essentially. But
which is good. She hasn't.
Yeah, good. Even after the end of the I feel that it should be very, very clear that a lot of the stuff is her tackling the idea of like she wants her son to have a good relationship with Magni, but she herself can't get over previous. Whoa, no! Sorry, I've disappeared for a second. I got back. Essentially, that disappearing in regards to her internal conflicts in regards to that. Thank you for the heal. So, yeah, a little bit of added complexity with that will be nice if they do follow through with that. Like I said, I actually don't mind. Like you said, you're saying that Eretor is more of Illyria's like anchor in regards to that. Maybe even then, like if you're pretty sure of that in text, I wouldn't even mind like Eretor believing that his mother loves his father more than she does him, because I feel like it's a good thing that's rarely ever covered, and especially not in an MMO sense and stuff, like to engage with that sense of like internal family jealousy, in a sense of like, what is it to be like a good parent, or is it selfish? You know, is it selfish? You'd think that, of course, your priority is to care for your child, but is it selfish to rely on a partner who may still, like, even if you have doubts about said partner, you feel that they, if you complete you more in a sense like you couldn't live without them? Difficult questions like that. But anyway, but yes, at least these group have their internal conflict, and Illyria clearly has hers. I still feel that Anduin's with the light is clearly the weakest, because it's like his war within is his use of the light. It's like you said though, Port, it's not the light, it's Anduin's issue, but Anduin's issue is spanning from doubt in himself. I wish it was more intense than that after what we saw in the actual trailer, like the proper, CGI trailer, and what is being delivered now in the story. Like, these are minor nitpicks. Like I said, these are minor nitpicks, but I feel like it would have elevated a story that's good at the moment. I'm like, yes, you know what? no complaints with this. You know, like this is good into a story that could actually like really drive home a thematic element.
It's really one of the issues where this amount of story we have in this expansion just is not enough time.
Yeah, I think that's
because a lot of the side stories do seem to have the time to explore those themes, but
yes,
that's come at the cost of a lot of the main story so far.
Yeah, and this is the trouble. It needs to be the main story though, because these are the characters who are going to be with us past this expansion. Maybe, I mean, no, yeah, they are going to be, because I was like, oh, maybe not Magni, just Magni. No, it's still because of like his role as speaker in Azeroth and all that. That will still need to be resolved in the future, or at least touched upon. So, the reprioritization with future patches to add more to this story could be essential in regards to creating that narrative anchor for the start of this expansion. And like I said, maybe Anduin takes a funny turn. Maybe something really fucking shitty happens to Anduin, and he does like pop off again after thinking he's like taking a forward step in recovery, and then something really fucking terrible happens to him, and he takes a step back again. Therefore, the iron then once again will be hot in regards to allowing this character to be somewhat fallible, rather than just things have happened to me and I'm sad and now I doubt myself. You know, it's still very thin to me. And like I said, that could possibly be solved with more. Well,
I think also that's a good description. It's not bad. It's thin.
It's thin. Yeah, I think that's my correct.
I think what is a good note of build up and slow build merits this conversation.
Merits, yeah. Oh yeah. Come over here, Sil. Come on. We are all watching Merrick's stay a while now.
Having a Thragar here in Dornogal, it is an auspicious sign indeed.
What? Oh, right. Me? Oh, yes. A Thragar of old I am.
Will you be returning to your duties then?
Duties? Can you refresh my memory of what those are?
Of course. I suppose your memory is like mine. A little dim around the edges after a few thousand years. Our Thragar were the best of us. Chosen by the Titans and instilled with great power. They were our heralds, our generals. They made decisions for the Keepers in their absence. Your duty is to guide and protect us, to warn us of oncoming danger, which in a way, you have.
These other Thragar, they look akin to me.
They were larger, perhaps, but they shone, as you do, of hard minerals.
Azeroth, you fox. Did you do this on purpose? To pave the way here for us?
I'm sorry. My auditory functions did not catch that.
Needn't you mind? Had a stray thought. Thank you for jogging my memory.
Okay. That's a good little... But it just made me laugh. It's just like... Meg was like, yeah, sure. And also he called him short in that little conversation there, so... I made him minerals.
My pun that I realized as we were talking is, Merrick's has it bad because he is hot for speaker.
This man, the longing. He's seen Magni's like, my God, most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. Just dropped into a lapse here. Please accept my wedding vows immediately, Thragar. He really is hot for speaker. I'm laughing. A good conclusion in regards to that too. I do like the Thragar thing too, by the way.
It's
very
good.
Good.
Because we still don't really know what they are, and we don't know why the Keepers made them, because clearly they've been able to do things without the Keepers and without the Titans, but and why are they all missing is another mystery.
Yes, and I'm guessing the Keepers for the Earthen here are also missing because we've not seen any keeper around. Yeah. Okay, so as
I was going to say, I don't know if I'm 100% on board with this new lore around, like, why Magni was turned into, like, a crystal dwarf. Like, I just, like, I don't know. There's, like, a part of me that doesn't believe that this was, like, planned out from, like, his appearance in Battle for Azeroth, like that. I don't know.
It was not. And I don't think they're going for the idea that Azeroth had 4D vision and planned this.
She, like, turned him into a crystal, like, so that he could show up here and be accepted.
Well, because ultimately, she didn't guide them to find the ritual. They found the ritual during their archaeology, and Magni chose to do it. So I don't think it's a matter of this was planned all the way since Cataclysm or all the way since Battle for Azeroth. I do think during Legion and during BFA, the concept was very much Azeroth is a Titan. Magni connected himself to the Earth and therefore could hear the whispers of the Earth. But I think they're kind of expanding that a bit more as they expand what Azeroth is.
Yeah.
And I don't think it is... I think Magni is applying meaning where there's not. There's a lot of that in this expansion that I think is done somewhat well, somewhat vaguely, but I do think this is very much Magni trying to make sense of his stuff because he has lost faith and he is trying to figure out what's the point of me being like this.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that a little
You're right,
better.
still, though. It's an ass pull. It's an ass pull, but I like it in that context, essentially. Like, yeah, of course, this wasn't planned out. Let's be honest. Like, most expansions weren't really thought out.
In this way, I'm fine with that because it's done more in the Final Fantasy XIV way of the Ascians were not planned out. They were in themselves an ass pull.
Yeah. Can it be a good ass pull? Can we work with that here? It's like
they literally said they didn't have motivations for any of the Ascians until late Stormblood. But I think that works fine so long as it flows in a way of discovering new information and the characters acknowledging it as new information, because whenever the characters finally mention confirmation of, oh, Azeroth is not a Titan, that will be something the characters learn too. It'll be something that is new information for them because everyone we know right now is under the pretense that she is a Titan. And so them building up to this idea that no, there is some kind of distinction there, and the connection to Azeroth versus the connection to the Titans are not the same thing. I think that's good because the characters don't know why. They don't know the answer to that, and they are trying to come up with their own ideas.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I can roll with that for now. I can accept that. I think that's within the realms of possibility, and actually, like, at least the groundwork from that. We can tell, obviously, early on it's a bit of an ass pull, but, like, at least they are trying to put in some hard yards in regards to interlinking those thoughts, and like you said, allowing the characters to consider that too, rather than just accepting stuff or not considering it at all. So it's better than those two options, and at least the characters are thinking about it. I like the characters' own, like you said, interpretations of it, or trying to find some sort of rationale behind it as well. So you know what? Yeah, fair enough. You've won me over on that. I will agree to that. I do love that is so, like, you're like, this was not planned. Of course not. I think, who was it that just recently revealed they only planned one expansion in advance when they were saying, no, we were planning 3 expansions in advance? Was it
Metzen said that in the most recent interview, basically saying that, no, they do expansions one at a time, and it's not until he came back that they are now doing a cohesive actual plan and not just post-it notes.
Can I just say, Liar's pants on fires all those years that were like, no, we planned this, and people say no,
sure
they
they
have
planned it in the sense of they had a post-it note on a wall and they had some general concept art of like setting stuff and some
themes,
bullet points of where they want to go. Like I've always said, 9.0 was always the Sylvanas death expansion. That's clearly always been the case because 2 expansions prior was Legion, and Sylvanas suddenly shoots into prominence even before she becomes war chief. So they were clearly trying to plant that seed early. But the people writing Legion, Metzen, and the people writing BFA, Afrasiabi, had two very different ideas of what that meant, and two very different ideas of how to get Sylvanas from Queen of the Forsaken to involved in cosmic death plans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think we can tell that now, essentially. I don't think the devs need to BS us anymore in regards to that. Like, it's pretty obvious. Actually, and like I always say, I think that it'd probably find a much more positive reception if they just were very... I think that's why Metzen always has hits
I think
with
the thing, if he is being very
very
clear
honest
about
there.
right now,
Yeah.
the thing they are actually doing
Yeah.
is the patches of the War Within. Or not the
Yes.
War Within, of the patches of the Last
Midnight.
Titan. Of
Yeah,
13.1, 13.2.
Yeah.
But they are vaguely concepting up until 17.0. And he's very clear, that's not expansion development, that is concept.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. That is very, very good. It's like, so we're going to do them in groups of 3. Actually, the groups of 3 idea is quite good. Like, this is a group, this is a group, this is a group. And obviously past the 3 that you're developing, the next 3, like you said, are concept, or at least like themes and what sort of ideas. Basically,
the general world stuff of like what's
soundboarding.
next, because clearly they're
soundboarding.
wanting the Last Titan to be a big climactic finale.
Yes.
And then whatever happens next will need to be cohesive and not Shadowlands.
Yeah. I will put my own predictions out there. I think that past Last Titan will start to, obviously, I mean, I know this about the Arathi, at least with the Arathi kingdom across the sea. And we know that Metzen is a Warhammer fan.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think it's definitely going to be other side of Azeroth style stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
My one hope is that maybe they ease into that by like having the first one be somewhere also on Azeroth that we know, and then ease into going somewhere else in the patches.
I would like it to be a human reunification, not under a monarchy. Eyebrow raise. I want the camera, if there was a camera on me, to zoom on my face and my eyebrow lifts just a quarter of an inch there, and I'm like, not that I'm suggesting anything here, but
what if the monarch was
for consideration? I would actually like Faerun to be not the monarch, but the leader of the United Human Kingdoms, as a true.
She is a Lothar. Spoilers.
Yeah, Lothar. Yeah, what? No
way.
Get out of here! No way! I think she'd be a great leader, like almost the leader of the United Human Kingdom, United States of Eastern Kingdoms. So yeah, that'd actually be kind of cool. And like I said, I think Anduin again would flourish not as a ruler there, but his own free agent. One could hope.
I think we'll have plenty of time to talk about humans or half-humans.
When we get to Hellowfall. Now, do we wanna do those side quests now? Do you feel like we should wrap up this sort of video just like doing those little side quests and then get started our next video on the next zone?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I'm going to pick up Moira's quest here. Moira's just telling us to,
Moira's is very much the next zone, yeah.
Yeah, Moira's the next zone. And she's also telling us, enter that hole. Just descend into some hole.
For now, we will avoid hole, though.
I'll pick up that quest, but we're avoiding hole. Let's go and pick up those Earthen side quests and round up our little journey with those. So it's the one, is it Crossroads Plaza?
First one is How Scandalous up here.
Oh, How Scandalous. But yeah, overall, my first impressions of this first zone, it's a solid start. Again, very thin, but not. This is the thing. I want to, despite my initial dislike of the Dalaran quest, and not so much of the Dalaran experience, these have been much improved. I didn't mind that whatsoever. A bit thin, but good in a sense of I'm okay with this. This makes sense. Everything here has a nice solid goal in mind. It has that sort of impression and urgency to it, and we got it done. Okay, that's cool. All right. So, How Scandalous. But yeah, again, props as well to the designers here. I really like this city. Feels much bigger than Valdrakken though. May I just say?
Which is funny because that's supposed to be the Dragon City.
Yeah, exactly. Dragons are very compact. I suppose they like sitting on rocks. Okay. Oh, smuggling.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the cops. Do you need a lawyer? Okay, Council
For a
War
second,
Merrick.
oh wait, does he? Is he just wearing undies?
Oh my god, does this man have
think
no
so.
pants on?
I don't know if these are pants or not.
These are not pants. He's got booty shorts on. He's just got booty shorts on. This man is like, stop, police! It's the sexy police. And the booty shorts. This guy's mind is like, dear lord, it's the sexy police. Quick, guys, run! He's got his serious booty shorts on. He is not wearing any pants. This man is not wearing any pants whatsoever. Dear lord. We've entered the city of perverts here. Okay, sea shipments. Right. Dornogal observes strict rules about what we trade and with whom. Eyebrow raised. So who are they trading with here?
I assume other Earthen.
Okay,
Yeah.
other Earthen. Yeah, okay, cool. Go through
Supplies
these
from the
crates. Can't believe it's making us be cops here. Shaking my head. That man made no statements about knowing what were in these chests. These are merely assumptions, and we're doing this without a warrant. Shaking my head, peacekeeper crowd. Gad. Okay. From a highly reliable source, they received a tip, so there must be something in there. This is odd. These are very normal trading goods. There's nothing illicit here. Is this all you found? Yeah, we found no pants, my guy, for you. Shipments full of pants. Quick, we need to destroy them. Okay. Withheld information. There must be something that we're missing. The tip that we received was from a very reliable source. We have no reason to believe that we were being misled. The council ward will want us to get to the bottom of this, and I refuse to disappoint him. We haven't been able to get any additional information out of the workers. Good on you, lads. Rights to silence. But maybe you'll have more luck. Speak to the ones you have detained here and see if you can learn anything. Interrogate? Okay, fine.
Oh, turn around.
Oh, turn around? Oh, shit! Hey, Merricks. I like how the peacekeeper awkwardly turned around where he's like, no, we're getting to the bottom of it. And he turned around like, oh. Okay, these guys are like, just my edicts. I just love moving crates. Born crate mover. Okay, Oathsworn owes no Outlanders any explanations. Okay.
What is your command?
Okay, my guys. Where's the other two guys here?
Over here.
Oh, there we go, yeah.
We are the Titan's bedrock and
No idea.
foundation.
Oh, someone blabbed her. All these snitches in this expansion.
It seems to be the theme.
We're all snitching. Oh, shaking my head. I do not approve. Okay. Oh, we're getting levels too.
Ooh.
We're level 72 now. Notably on our alts, leveling was very, very easy when you did like an extra one dungeon and one extra delve and a couple of extra quests. Very, very fast XP game. So they built in extra compartments. Okay, so smash the bottoms of the crates. Okay. Oh shit! We're smuggling in ooze. The boys love the ooze.
Nerubian silk.
Ooh! Bundle of receipts.
And oil from Hallowfall.
Ah! Bag of glowing shards. Hallowfall? Are we just getting holy water from Hallowfall? Okay, very interesting. Okay. Crackhead frowns as he looks over the goods you found. Some of these goods are from Ankashet, which specifically is forbidden from trading with the Nerubians in any capacity. Eyebrows. You cannot risk any resources falling into the hands of our enemies. Okay. These receipts that you found. Steel Vein is a known smuggler. My edict is I was a designated criminal at birth. What do they always say? Truth is weirder than fiction. Very much, very much. Okay, so these guys are all set. And we need to go now and have a little natter and find... Wait, we need to find Merrick's first. Okay.
Oh, so yeah, we do actually get to come up here.
Yeah.
I didn't know there were quests up here.
Ooh. Oh, he's even got his little book here. The office is
We're just
indeed...
reading his book.
Yeah, we walk into his house and we start reading his fucking book. Okay, the office is indeed unoccupied. Parallel letters is scattered haphazardly over what you presume is Merrick's desk. It appears he is left in a hurry. The topmost letter is open and unfolded. There has been a situation. Expect delays. Steelbane. Oh,
He is talking with the smuggler.
yeah. Ooh. The plot thickens, and so does Teddy.
That's one thing I really appreciate about this zone and why I think it's like works and is so interesting is that like you have like these little like political conflicts, like, you know, there's like friction between the characters. They don't all just like get along, you know.
Yeah, I think Dragonflight tried that, but it was a little bit, speaking of haphazard, I feel like Dragonflight's issues with the Draconoids and the rebels and stuff wasn't resolved very
right. But here you have like the faction like the Unbound, and they're like allowed, they have their own reasons for like why they are the way they are, and they run like counter to what the rest of the Earthen are trying to do, you know, following their edicts. They're like, I appreciate that they're not like villainized like the Kyrian, like the, was it the Mossworn and the Kyrian? And like you said, the Draconid rebels.
Yeah. There was, I'll just say this, so you're totally on the ball there. It was, I think it was a little bit because of the power imbalance as well with those two factions that made it not work very well for Dragonflight, because you can't be like the Draconoid and the dragons are on the same sort of like footing when it comes to talking with each other. You know what I mean? It's a little bit like... Yeah. Also, by the way, did I miss a quest here? Like,
no, I just looked it up, and
that's as far as we can go.
Continue until we finish the Ringing Deeps.
Right. Okay. Then it's we got to go smuggling in the Ringing Deeps. I say. Okay. So was that the only side one that we needed to do for this?
No, there is also the Crossroads Plaza that you mentioned.
Oh! Let's go grab it. And we'll wrap up with that one. But yeah, with this, the reason why this intrigue works so well is because all the Earthen are on basically the same level. Like, they're all the same people, you know. And that allows that power dynamic to be much better balanced, basically. So with the Draconoids and the dragons, it couldn't be anything but a resolution of, like, understanding the Draconoid standpoint and being like, yeah, what the fuck's up with the dragons here? Because there's such a disparity in their, like I said, between that sort of like control that they had. One is not to mince words, but one is essentially been used as easy labor force for the dragons, and you know, like they fill that sort of role. And I don't think that was ever really concluded well. It's still, I feel like it's a little bit still up in the air because of that power imbalance too. Okay, right, Crossroads. Are we going to the crossroads down there? We're going to that nice little bit outside the city too. I love the roads, by the way, leading to Dornogal too. Like, that's very nice.
Flying out through here is so cool. It's such a good entrance to the city.
It actually feels like an entrance to the city too, by the way. Like, that's a really cool thing. It feels like it's easily defendable as well. So that is one thing, one tiny thing I've been spoilt to for like the max level quest, I will say. Is what happens, what comes from the ocean heading towards Dornogal. Yeah, so it actually makes sense. It has a little bit of defense coming through there, basically. Okay. An Outlander. You are real. Crossroads Tinkerer. Okay, so...
Next class confirmed.
Ooh! We're all raising our eyebrows here, like, really?
This is a side quest I want to do at some point, but it's not the required one.
Okay, which one's the required one?
Whichever one says this is required for... I mean, we can do like the wanted ones, like this Earth Wound one. Or the wanted, because those are just one-offs, but...
Oh, this one says Earthen allied race.
Yeah. The Mourning Rise.
Like I said, all these side quests are really nice. I really want to come back and do them.
Oh, this is a cute little area.
Oh yeah, the little person's house there. Yeah. Looks really, really
down.
good. Before he shuts. I'm so sorry at these random people. Okay, so there we go. Okay, we're here. Thank you for coming. Okay, so we got Krogan here. Do I know you know my... Oh yeah, oh my gosh, so yeah, this is where... Wow. So this is when the Earthen are like basically preparing them, so it's palliative care for them. Okay. Do you have the explosives? Oh, that's a little bit extreme, dude. That's a little bit extreme. You don't want to blow yourself up.
Yeah, she has more dialogue after, too.
Yeah.
Big ass mouth.
Okay. Okay. Going in here, too, because there's something interactive over here. Corgran's request. These words are written as my memoir. My wish to follow the path of Craigbowl, like many Unbound have done so before. It's my request for a final shutdown. It's my choice and my decision. Euthanasia too, but it can be like comparative to palliative care essentially if he is feeling quite old. Okay, I know when my time comes you will honour it and grant me that final moment of peace. I do have one wish that is outside of our traditional course of final shutdown. I wish to be left by the shore in a place that I travel to when I need some time for myself. I'm aware that this is not what we do, but I implore you to consider it when the time comes. Do not worry when it does. Mourning Rise will be in good hands, your hands. May you forge your path well. Aww.
Interesting. They're also like wanting to be shut down while they still have their memories because they'd rather
have memories
die as themselves than lose who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Seems like a very like kind of Alzheimer's parallel.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Right, yeah, also, by the way, don't mind the door shutting in the back, so I was grabbing something out of the study then.
Oh, wow. Yeah, these stat... Wow. These are literally just dead bodies on top of...
Oh, damn! Okay, so we're at the bloody Earthen graveyard here.
What drives
The
you?
avatars. Hold on. Shut down Earthen has notable damage all over his body. This is new damage on his left arm where the gem's missing from his bracer.
Journey far.
Ah! Who are these? Oh, the kobolds are just taking the gems out their arms! I shouldn't laugh, but dear God, kobolds! Do you know your grave robbers? My little creatures here? Okay, hold on. Coming up to you guys. Oh, maybe, hold on. If I picked the wrong direction, kobolds are attacking me from every direction. Definitely.
I think you might have missed turning in the
quest. Oh, there we go. Turn in the quest here. I'm at the right person. I'm here. Okay, so she doesn't want him to obviously shut down. Corgran calls himself a caretaker, but I'm the only one taking care of Mourning Rise for a long time. I don't mind. Corgran is very kind. The situation has gotten way ahead of me. Yeah, you're telling me you got an infestation of kobolds stealing people's remains? Okay.
These epitaphs are really nice.
Okay, the Earthen above the plat was wearing Storm Rider armor, but most of it's been removed by force. The Earthen has also been bashed in the face by a blunt object, dear lord! In remembrance of caretaker Bagdur. Once celebrated as a Storm Rider, she was discharged from their ranks when she turned away from the Oathsworn beliefs. A lover of fine Cinderbrew and gems, she was an ardent Storm Rider as she was a caretaker. I said this is really nice, and it actually adds a lot to, like, the Earthen cultures once again. Once again, very, very good world building in regards to this new culture. I mean, like I can say like my piece about like they need to focus more on obviously the main characters, but they have not skimped on the ability to world build for this expansion with their like for this essentially one of the player races and others. Plaque looks older than the others, and so does the Earthen standing above it. Even so, the cracks on his head and belt seem recent, as do missing parts of his leg and jaw. Oh my god! In remembrance of caretaker Radok, struck down while protecting the Mourning Rise from Nerubians, he was beloved by his sector. Known as a brave fighter, is no fierce when he played his favourite card game, Resonance. Resonance? Okay, confirming new card game. Okay. Always be an empty chair for him at Sector's gaming table. I said this is very, very sweet. I always think that the WoW writers also like do a good job at like writing things in memory of like other characters too. They're good. They always do a good job at that. Okay.
Speak freely. No
Okay.
directive
Next
needed.
quest too. So basically, we're cleaning up this site.
Our lives are our own.
Oh, the kobolds deserve the harshest punishment. They must be cooled even further. Okay.
Follow no directives but your own.
I would say the kobolds are just not the brightest. Once again, not the brightest tools in the shed. I mean, culling them until they learn their lesson is certainly a way to put it.
I mean, they are not. I wouldn't want to say portrayed more intelligently. Portrayed more as people and not just vermin.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're in the ringing depths, aren't they? So
Yeah.
I know that
Like they are making the choice to do this. It isn't like
yeah. It's like
well, that's a cool
these kobolds.
model. The female
Ooh.
kobold.
Yeah, that was nice. I said we can understand that, but my god, let's exterminate these kobolds.
Candlelit boomer. Oh, she's gonna explode.
Free loot. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Actually, I'll round up these bad boys here.
God, there are a lot of corpses here.
I know. these Earthen are just like, damn. This is a really, really cool design for a graveyard too, by the way.
Yeah. It's very unique to have their bodies on top of their grave.
Yeah.
Which really fits their culture because their bodies are the most durable part of them.
Yeah. And you know what? I'd argue it's quite fair. Oh, obviously we have to go inside. It's quite fair to want to have like some sort of. We know there's almost a heroicness in regards to their shutdown too. They do want to be remembered. So I think that actual very visual tell in regards to that, having their bodies on display for this, is a clever bit of world building as well. Like it's a very visual proudness that I existed, even if it's just this form, which will last essentially, which is in line with, like you said, their culture and basically what we've seen so far about like they're a prideful people. Once again, the Earthen, we'll say, even if a bit forgetful. Poor Earthen, I'm making a joke about your awakening machine not working. I'm so sorry. Going in for maintenance or repairs, and like, I'm old. Okay, where is this last one? Did I not? Oh, I just didn't pick it up.
Welcome,
Go. Okay, Earthen belongings. Okay. Perfect. Okay, the infestation is worse than I thought. The kobolds must be exterminated. Okay. Okay, much work to do. There we go. Laws apply to all.
Our lives are our own.
I'm not okay. So now she's like, I'm not proud that we had to kill them, but we had to stop them by any means. Then, girl, don't call it exterminating. My goodness. Okay, that's very fair though. Like actually blocking off their entrance here and getting rid of the bosses. Okay, that is very, very fair.
That's a good environmental detail that they have the ladder coming up to get the actually climbing.
I would have thought the kobolds just skittered around down, but they do like ladders a lot. I will say this. I understand that. Fire in the hole.
3 times for good measure.
3 times a good measure. We're making sure these holes are sorted. Hairless the menace slay. Bold. These kobolds are bold. Also, I love all the little like cool poses and like all the little touches of flowers growing off of the Earthen's corpses while they're on the pedestals here. Okay, where is our other men of the hour over here? Where are our kobold holes? Once again, holes make a big theme in this expansion. Holes. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Rightio.
I like that their healers are called ouch patchers.
Ouch patches. Nicely done. Nicely done. Also, while we're getting through these shenanigans, does anyone have any outlandish ideas of what the first patch will be of this expansion?
Yes, but I'm not going to spoil it.
Oh! Now, I have heard the whispers and the rumors, like whether it's the Undermine or whether it's like, what was the other one?
We will do stuff in Ashgahat that very much.
Ooh!
Los
Okay.
tells you.
Ooh! And also, with we do have to go up here. With the Blizzard Direct too. Will we see an announcement of that first patch there? You think?
I would say definitely.
Yeah, it will be November. So, if they are doing it around usual BlizzCon time, my birthday.
There's 2 epitaphs here.
Oh. Okay. I caretaker Natar, Unbound, wish to follow Craigwell's path to unshackle the bonds given to me by the Titans. Here will be my rest, my place of final shutdown. It's my choice. My last stand, may you remember me for what I was and what we can become, more my passion but rise to freedom. Aww! I caretaker Dornogal, wish to join my fuse. Aww! There we go. In my final shutdown, I could not bear the thought of a life renewed and reassigned if I awaken someday from within the machine. May the empty chasm you left in my chest be filled now that we are together in oblivion. May this act be known to be my choice and pursue true freedom and release from the cycle that was forced on us by the Titan overlords. Ooh, more my passion but rise to freedom. So, Stone Man and Stone Wife here. Poor little guys. And also the very clear thoughts about the Titans here too.
I really like the name of the area being the Mourning Rise and how that's their saying.
Yeah, oh. I said that is very, very nicely written. That is very lovely. Oh, hold on. There we go. Oh. Oh, she's old too, this lady. Okay. I just realised that too by one of the voice lines clicking on her. Eliminating the minds behind this operation, kobolds. Okay. Who runs this fine establishment? Okay. Grand Heister Bock. Okay. Let us go give this man the business. This rat man the business. Raticus up here. Oh. Okay, there we go. He's got his own little hole here too.
And obliterated.
We salute and rest in pieces, Ratman, for disturbing the graves. He's even got a little stinky chair.
I love the lighting here.
Oh yeah, the light. Notably too, the lighting very good for this expansion. This cheese looks absolutely evil. I love it.
You can click on it and talk to it.
Yeah, I thought to it. It's like the worst cheese you've ever laid eyes on. The quintessence of age. Quintessentially age?
Quintessence of age.
Quintessence of age. Thank you, Sel. Me struggling with quintessence there.
Someone had fun writing this. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I need the perfect word for this. Let's fucking go. Okay, Targo. Quest. It is done.
Welcome, Outlander.
She calls it death, though. I suppose though it is death for the kobolds, but like shut down for them. Yeah. Okay. Like I said, very, very good world building in regards to these side quests too. Like that makes sense. It's a good sort of like way to communicate all this and also more aspects of like the earth and stuff in general there. So props. They just need more of these quests at max level for their main characters. I'm winking here, by the way.
Oh, he has new dialogue.
Become unbound from Titans bound by traditions. So again, that questioning of the Titans here that they've woven in as well. Like I said, I don't think all the Titans are like mustache twirling villains, but we're certainly going to have some run-in with Odin, of course. Yeah. Okay. One more tradition. I've often walked the path between the outposts and Mourning Rise memorial sites. I can recognise the ruts and the heavy steps. As an Unbound, I wanted to be free of traditions that lock me into performing the same duties day to day. Okay. Oh, he's crumbling to pieces. Okay. Before I shut down, I must craft an item that is meaning to me. As a stone-bound, I work the mines, wish to forge a new lantern to guide my way through these last moments. Okay.
Journey far and safe.
Another thing. He wants his cool lighting. Lantern. Also, really good music in this area too. I was actually saying to Sel, and Sil knows my opinion of this, I think Dragonflight's music was a little bit lacking
Mm.
sometimes, especially the lack of leitmotifs. Like, we got no one's leitmotifs in Dragonflight.
Well, there are good ones in this expansion.
Yeah.
Illyria and Xalatath especially.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm rubbing my little hands together here. That's what I like to hear.
Well, I think you've heard little bits
of it,
both.
yes. Like in Dalaran and stuff like that. Before, like, all the yeah. I said total lack of motifs in, except for Night Elf place. Sorry, my brain is going on me. The new Night Elf, sorry, which obviously had.
It's Night Elf, so of course they have leitmotifs.
And of course they have the leitmotifs. But yeah, everyone else, like individual character leitmotifs, were non-existent in Dragonflight, which was rather sad. So
there were consistent ones in the Blue Dragon quest line, which was nice at least.
True. Yes, that is. Yeah, you got me there. Actually, that is a real question here too, though. Like, with everything that's gone on, is Caligos not interested in what's gone on? I mean, like, Khadgar's... Did the dragons not feel a disruption in the force? It makes
the dialogue that they have at the end of 10.2.5 really, really funny, because they're talking about how, oh yeah, the Kirin Tor and the Aspect of Magic working side by side. We'll meet again in Dalaran one day.
Well, oh no! I'm sorry, guys. I have some terrible news for both of you. Oh dear.
Well, we have terrible news for one of you.
Terrible news for just one of you. I'm really loving the architecture too. That's something I haven't talked about too with all of this. The houses here are very, very charming. The buildings are very, very nice.
Oh, this dialogue of his.
I know. He's a poor guy slowly breaking down.
Well, not even just the physical part, the memory right here.
Memory, yeah.
How he can't even remember the name of the city.
Yeah. Me raising an eyebrow. Earthen Alzheimer's, basically. Okay. Hopefully I remember how to forge a lantern. Forging of memories. It feels like a shadow hanging at the edges of my memory.
Oh,
yeah.
It gives me an engineering thing. That's good.
Oh, before it shut down, we Earthen descend into the awakening machine, renew our cycle, but Corgan lets out a deep sigh. These hands look strong, they become heavier with each passing moment, the stiffness in my wrist and elbows. And Earthen arthritis. Can this poor man catch a break? Okay, I'm ready to begin. Oh, we gotta help him out? Toss me some ore. Damn, the poor guy's like, this used to be easy.
I definitely think this is like a metaphor for Alzheimer's or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Allegory. I'm not sure what the proper word is, but...
comparison. An allegory. No, you're right with allegory, Sil. 100%. Okay, he's just tapping away. Charge core. Oh, no, dude, focus. What am I making go right? The lantern. No! Some of that ore. Okay. And he even forgets what was midway through. No! Charge core. Okay.
Metsid says something during his interview, which I thought was really interesting. Something about putting yourself into your work, you know, taking like risk and reward. And I think that's like where stuff like this kind of comes from.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But I think he also had a really good insight there of... Oh, he just disappeared.
He's ascended. Rest in peace, Corgrin. But yeah, go on, Port. What was that? Good comparison to...
I'm wondering, did I miss dialogue?
Maybe. Oh, he didn't have a warp cycle. Yeah, he's just sort of like come up here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, abandon it and redo it because then he just vanished for me.
Oh no.
Let's commit our meeting to memory. Follow no directives but your own.
Hold on. I think mine's kind of stuffed up too. Oh no, here he is. What's happening? Is he walking? The last journey. Oh no, wait. The question mark is up here.
No, did he do all the dialogue for you and then run out, or did he just vanish?
First of all, he just vanished, but then I went back down the stairs, and then he sort of like did all the.
You should probably, like, if you didn't see all the dialogue where he
is sort of panicking. Yeah, he's panicking and he doesn't know where he is. I said it is a little bit buggy towards this end bit. I ran a little bit in front of him and he did sort of disappear on the last bit, but yeah. Okay. This is horrible. I knew I should have been keeping a closer eye on him. Confusion is the last symptom before shutdown. Oh yeah, this is definitely a metaphor for either Alzheimer's or dementia. Or at least, like I said, palliative sort of care in regards to that.
May your choices return you here.
Okay, looking for tracks.
Oh.
Made by his tiny little stone feet. Oh, here. No, he's lost lantern. No! Okay.
Oh, on the bottom, carved said made by Corgrin and a dear friend.
Oh no! Oh. Okay, quest.
Tell me what drives you.
No!
Let's commit our meeting to memory.
Right. There we go. Corgrin's condition is sliding downhill fast. Showing him the lantern was a good idea.
Journey far and safe.
Okay. Man is walking into the sea like a true Viking. No, wait, that was boats into the sea. Hold on. I'm sorry, Corgrin. I've ruined your very serious moment here.
May your choices return you here.
Okay. Oh, do I like the shore? No. Oh, and we do have to go all the way over to the shore. Gonna have to see this man die. Thanks. look-see here. Oh, this is that bit of shore over here too. Oh. And good music here as well too. Keep on mentioning it. It's changed up again.
Oh, this is a beautiful area.
Yeah. With the shallows and everything.
Just don't mind the elementals.
If you don't mind the elementals, don't worry about them. Okay. Okay, so figuratively, the Corgrim will need a horn. We then face we blow the horn, the sound signifies the passing of the mantle of the Mourning Rise caretaker to me. Or cleansing ashes. Purification, Ashenfold.
May all paths be open to you.
Damn. Okay, so let's have a look-see here.
Our lives are our own.
And at Shoal Shell, well, I'm missing where the quest is here. Here. Oh, this was not the right thing that I'm collecting here. It's a mining node that's exploding me. I'm losing the seriousness of the moment, the gravity of the moment by my mining node exploding me with bits of TNT. Help. Okay. But again, like the similarities with this and the Blue Dragonflight quest as well with Senegos, it does have a crossover there. I'm noticing, like I said, the WoW devs definitely are good at writing in regards to like death and that movement of characters of like through their lives and stuff like that. So always a good thing to note. Okay, got all my hordes finally. Okay, I'm a little bit slower than you guys, but let's get a move on. Hell yeah. Oh, look how many people are doing this quest too. You'll only be upset with us? Okay. Tools of Declaration. Perfect horns.
Morgan has
Cleansing
some extra
ashes.
dialogue too, talking about this area.
Oh yeah, the sound of waves, sand under my feet. It's bringing together what shards of the memories I have left. There's so many memories I've lost. My inception, my first wanderings of this land. Otago is right. There is no other place I would rather shut down than here in the waves. Aww.
I like the way this is written. This is very thoughtful.
Yeah. Like I said, again, the WoW devs have actually done like a death quest very, very thoughtfully. Like a side quest about death and handling of death. Okay, time for the ceremony. Help Otago and Kogran perform the ceremony. We'll shut down peacefully knowing that we were here by his side in the place he loved most. Something I wish and hope to have when it is my time. My core is mud, but it'd be a great honor to stand... My core is mud, but it is a great honor to stand here with him and with you. Oh, she's saying she's upset. Okay.
I like this line right here. I need to do a few things to prepare, but I don't want to do any of them. I keep thinking if I don't, maybe he'll be here for longer. I think that's like very human.
Aww. That is a good one, honestly. Okay.
Journey far and safe.
Ooh, we even get a horn noise too. Oh.
What path brought you
Okay.
here?
No, Port! No, don't go into the water! Turn around! It's not your time yet! Okay. Like I said, very almost like Viking burial here, but without the boat. Oh. Shit, okay.
Communication in...
Oh, he just turned into a rock! Corgan stands in the shallow, his once warm eyes now locked on a gaze of wonder at the horizon as his lantern sways with a gentle ocean breeze. The small ornate plaque hangs on the lantern. It reads, "Here stands caretaker." Here stands caretaker Corgan with his final shutdown. May his forever rest not be dictated by tradition, but rather by choice. It is dawn. It is now my time to care and face the upcoming challenges of Mourning Rise. I will miss Corgan, although I think this is going to be my new think-through spot when I need a zephyr of fresh air to clear my head, or when I need a listening ear. That's very sweet. There we go. Okay. Please help me complete my final task. Okay. Meet Otago at Fallside Outpost to help her take on her new role. Okay. Last one.
May all paths be open to you.
Okay. One more time. That was an incredibly sweet quest, that was. Like, putting it together and, like, all that sort of, like, thought as to basically, like I said, Earthen tradition and stuff like that. Very, very nice. We've closed out on a very strong point here on the side quest again. Side quests really, really lifting a lot there. But again, I don't think devs should be shy of the main quest having quests like this. Corgan went into status as young, air quotes, for our age. Okay. Ooh, and you place it on the table here. Is honoured to be a caretaker, but also a dutiful burden. This memento is a reminder of what our work means, what we truly preserve. There we go. Damn. Do we see this placard anywhere?
I don't know.
Oh. Okay, no.
I feel like
maybe?
Assuming there's an induction quest line, I feel like she might get an assistant as one of the
As the next sort of step
storylines,
of the
yeah.
Earth. Yeah, and that placard is obviously going to go somewhere in here, I bet. Because I'm guessing this like next bit is like either going to be continued or that is like basically one of the elements to it.
Yeah.
May I just say, very good quest that is. That's a good quest to finish on for this whole zone. And a solid one again.
Yeah.
Like
And
I said,
obviously there's plenty of more story in this zone, but those are kind of the main ones
sort of
they
ones there.
intended everyone to
Yeah,
see.
that was really beautiful.
Yeah, and we've done, like I said, me and Sul on our alts too did a lot of like the small village quests as well with like the crafting and stuff like that, especially of like the pottery and stuff, and learning about the locals and things and how they respond to people. I said this is a very good world building zone for a new race, essentially, for both Alliance and Horde here. Like I said, not always the most fitting for Horde, but we can appreciate the actual like effort put into like the development of this isle, I think, as well. So I said props in regards to that too, like, and especially if we want to come back and like sort of mop up any other quests, we can do like a sort of a follow-up video here. But overall, also, will I stop like crumbling? I'm so sorry, I've been crumbling so long. I had like all this earth stuff coming off of me. There we go. Speaking about poor old Earthen like crumbling into stone and standing in the sea, I said I'm very, very thoughtful. Like I said, again, very reminiscent, obviously, of the Blue Dragonflight's quest in regards to moving on and leaving, like, you know, those who follow up behind us and stuff like that. Very beautiful. Like I said, very, very nice.
Yeah,
too. And
it
again,
was interesting because like they're Unbound, is that what they're called? Or Unbroken?
Yeah.
Unbound, right? Like they've forsaken their traditions and their edicts, but they still find meaning in some traditions. I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting. Like, it's like rituals of death.
yeah.
Like, if it has meaning for them, then it's like, you know, not necessarily a bad thing.
Important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the Titans edict was just to keep on going through the recycle schedule, you know, like the go into, if you need to be repaired, you go into that, and then you get your memories wiped, and you just keep on going like that, because obviously the Titans wanted these guys as workers rather than individuals, and this does create their own individual. Like, what do I always like to use? Sovereignty of mind and body, essentially. So that is the implication in regards to this away from the Titans.
Yeah.
And again, this is a good sort of like a good sort of comparison to like the dragons and the draconoids from last expansion with the power balance dynamic. We didn't spend enough time with the draconoids, I don't think, in a sense of like them. We spent more in regards to the view of the draconoids through the dragon's
Yeah,
eyes.
they
That
were
was the
more
issue
like
with the rebel stuff.
servants, so they didn't really like.
I think it's a lot more successful here because they're very much being written for being a player race and being understandable as what we might eventually play. Whereas
Yes.
the Draconids and even the dragons are written from a very othered perspective. And they
Agreed.
don't really necessarily, not that we need to relate to everything to the races we play, but they were written from just a different perspective.
Yeah,
than-
yeah. And like I said, that power dynamic between the dragons and the draconoids was very hard to reconcile, I think, for the writers, because it's like how do you reconcile that with any sort of like positives in the dragon's favor? While in this, we're very much removed from the Titans. We're meeting the Earthen on their own terms, and we've only had them interacting with their own people, so the power dynamic isn't there. We're seeing these people as self-actualized people. And like I said, sovereignty of mind and body in regards to their actions. And like I said, then also the conflict between what they consider is their created purpose and what choice they're making. So like I said, that sovereignty comes into it as to their future and their own directives, and choosing how and when to die, euthanasia slash Alzheimer's sort of like allegories, like you said, so very, very well put. Is that sort of like connection there? And these are all things, that make an individual and stuff like that. So I'm thumbs up in here. You can't see me. I'm thumbs up in regards to like world building for this allied. I keep on wanting to call them an allied race, though. I'm so sorry. This new race for World of Warcraft. So peoples here. So yeah, that was very well done. And like I said, this first zone is a very solid start. Like I said, the Dalaran part was definitely a little bit more wonky, is my best word for it. I can't say I particularly enjoyed the Dalaran bit, other than the, like you said, so I think you also put that very well in a sense of urgency and the fun part of the dynamic of engaging that sort of escape from Dalaran feel to it. But the story was weaker. This zone actually is a lot more solid in a story and a start to an expansion here. So, like I said, thumbs up him.
Yeah.
Also, gang, now we have what we'll call this zone air quotes complete in regards to what we wanted to see of it for now. And our next stop will be the Ringing Depths and our general thoughts about that too. And depending on how fast we get through the Ringing Depths, that might be its own video, or it might be a combo video with Halo 4. But I think our Halo 4 video might be quite long.
Yes, it definitely will.
My powers of psychic vision. Oh, I'm looking into the future. Will we be talking about Anduin? Yes, we will. There we go. And his the development of his story too. So looking forward to that. And also, guys, thank you so much too for going along with this, and like all of us having a little natter here, a little talk about all the different aspects. And we'll wrap it up here for now, and we'll go on to our video for Ringing Depths next time. Okay. And also thank you for anyone who listened into this as well.